Chaos Reign presents Relationships. Who Wants It More, Men or Women? With LAM Movement, April the 7th, 2019. Let's get it!
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, rape, death, and all forms of other atrocities that plague the earth, what you're witnessing, we're living in a state of chaos. And it'll take a greater or much extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Good evening, black people. This is Chaos here, a.k.a. Gary. And tonight, let me pull up the subject as I pull up my YouTube. Actually, I'll tell you right here. Tonight's subject, we're going to take a step back and deal with something a little different than I normally do here on Talk Real Solutions. But before I give you the title, I would like everybody to go to TalkRealSolutions.com. There you see the 3-point plan to achieve Black achievement, Black power. And under the 3-point plan, you see a list of Black established-owned banks located here in the United States of America. I believe there's still 30 remaining here in this country, some close to the Midwest, some down south, and maybe West Coast. But they do exist, and they're around you if you, make the conscious effort to look. But, a lot of people can start putting their money into not only regular established banks, like the regular commercial banks, like the TD, American Chase, Bank of America, or, People's Bank, all these other long-funded banks. But you also could put your money in other Black established banks. So we could start practicing some form of economics amongst each other. And under the website, you'll see the latest news, articles, and things that's been going on around the world and what's going on here in this country, which pertain to situations in politics, either local or non-local. And always on Talk World Solutions, we also have a donation piece where you could donate little as $5 to less than $2. So donate to anything you can to the show to keep the show running efficiently and much smoother. And, with every little donation helps. It might we can go as far as expand Talk World Solutions, because this show has been running now on an average now 5 years, since I think the fall. I could be right or wrong, but I think the show's been around quite some time now. So it has created an audience for people that know the businesses, how the deal goes on here in the show. We don't cut chase. We don't hold our tongues. We get raw and down to the points. And, sometimes the subject matter that I do sometimes on a weekend basis might not be nice to people that don't like it. It might not be consumer-based friendly. But at the end of the day, these are the discussions that we don't talk enough or we don't look to as people. I might say some things that might offend a lot of people. Hell, I say a lot of things nowadays that I might say myself. But at the end of the day, I just don't, give it. You know what I mean. I'm here just to inform y'all and to maybe you'll learn something. Also, you can find this show and all previous recordings here on Talk World Solutions on YouTube, and it's titled Talk World Solutions on YouTube. And I'm not sure if anybody is moderating on YouTube right now. They could type it up right now, the links for people that are regular watchers on Talk World Solutions. If you're not a subscriber or you like to share the content, please do. It'll be appreciated. Other than that, I think I went in and said my piece. And, I'm not going to look at the chat room right now because we've got some dumb shit going on in the chat room. That's another story. All right. So no further ado, tonight's subject matter, Chaos Reign presents relationships. Who want it more, men or women? And I have my special guest, no other than I Am Movement. And he's going to probably explain more to himself. So no further ado, as if you're there, brother, press 1. I think it's star 6, so I can see you on the panel. Hold on. Yeah, press star 6 and 1. Okay, now I see you. No further ado, I open the mic to my guest. How you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you good. Hear you well. Okay. Yes. Welcome to Talk World Solutions for the very first time. I Am Movement. I don't know if I said it right.
LAR. It don't matter.
LAR. All right.
Real stuff.
All right. Good. All right. Excellent. And like always, in our movement, before we get into the gist of things and get into the meat of the matter, I always like to take a step back so people get a full template to yourself and what you're about. So if you wouldn't mind, tell people for the first time I Talk Resolution a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm known in this arena as a YouTube content creator. Pretty much I talk about a vast variety of topics. I don't like speaking about one thing in particular, but they're all centered around life, and a lot of it is around our people in the black community. You can catch me on my channel, LAR Movement on YouTube. Sometimes me and O'Shea Jackson do the brother pill a lot of the time, so I'm on that. Outside of that, I have like different hobbies like a boxing podcast and, stuff like that. But I'm just a brother who thinks about things and expresses his opinions. And sometimes I say stuff that people didn't think about, and sometimes I say stuff that really ticks people off. So that's the gist of it.
Yes, indeed. Like always, on this platform, we're not too afraid of controversy. I'm saying we speak our minds, and people like it or not, it's keeping it real as is. You know what I'm saying? And sincere, which a lot of our people don't like to hear. Reality. You know what I'm saying? And real from a person's perspective, especially us men. And I think we get the bulk of a lot of things in regards to women. I'm saying where women want to hear an actual opinion from the brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like our opinions either matter or don't matter. It becomes a real problem at like when we open our mouths to certain situations that we don't like see fit. Let's say not only us men, because men we're our own criticizers to what we do, but when we want to like give a perspective of our women, a real perspective is a problem. So to be more blunt, in regards to the question that or the subject matter is in regards to this relationship thing, we really have to ask this question: who really wants to be more in a relationship? Is it us men or is it women? From your perspective, from what you see fit.
My honest opinion would be neither. Because when it comes to the sacrifices that needs to be made, that's where people draw the line. You're not going to always win. You're not going to always get what you want out of a relationship. And what I mean by that is this. Say, us as men, for instance, we say we want a certain type of woman, or we want a certain relationship. But what you see with a lot of brothers who are single like myself is nitpicking their way out of relationships.
Hey, AMR, before you continue, you can speak up just a little bit, brother, just a little bit.
Speak, okay. Tell me, can you hear me clear now?
Yeah, okay, now I hear you better. Okay. I just want to make sure, because I'm looking at the chat room, make sure it's clear. All right, go ahead.
Okay. We'll nitpick our way out of things. We say we want one thing until we get it. Then we don't want it anymore. Or we want relationships because we want sex. And then when the sex gets old, you don't want the relationship anymore. So a relationship is a lot more than sex and just sex, food, and companionship. Sometimes you gotta be there for each other. And I think on the flip side, the women are doing the same thing, except they may want resources, but they don't want to do anything to reciprocate that. So they're happy until the check doesn't clear. Then they're not happy anymore. They say they want a man, but when they get with a man, he's such a man, which makes absolutely no sense. So I think people are looking for a stopgap for whatever season of life they're in, and then when they're out of that season, they're looking for a new stopgap. Because it really doesn't take that much to actually be in a healthy relationship with a person. I mean, we're just making it as difficult as possible so we can always have a way out. So that's my opinion.
And I'll be listening to these streams on YouTube and really listen to what really women be saying. And to me, what I look at it, even just now, in regards to what the men have issue with the women, and we hear the women have issue with the men, I look at the end of the day that when it comes to both of us, and this is my opinion now, you can probably check me on this, that we really can't be satisfied, men and women, right now as collective, because there's always an issue when it comes to us men, not all of us, but just enough, how I would say that we can't really either get or attain certain things from the women, and the same thing with the females, how they can't attain or get certain things from the men that they want or they deal with. Like it's an ongoing battle that either one or the other cannot be satisfied.
Yeah. There's always got to be a winner and a loser. You're happy when you win, and you're mad when you lose, and you don't want to be in a relationship anymore. So, ultimately, that's not really a relationship. You're just you're a scam artist trying to get over and get away with it. So some of it is just ridiculous to me. Even when I listen to it, it's kind of like, I will say this about, I think what I've also noticed is, even on YouTube, the guys are more willing to make the sacrifices than the women are. But they will still miss it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to if you get in a relationship, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And I hear more of the men saying they know they're going to have to deal with certain things that they don't like, but that's the cost of doing business. When I listen to the females, they don't really do that. I got to have it. I got to have all of these things with no concessions. And it's like, that's not reality.
Yes. Oh, and let me give the call number for tonight's show, for those listening. The call number for tonight's stream is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411#. And, I will be open the mics in maybe 30 minutes or hours, depending on how we, chop it up a little bit. But, it's one thing, because you do say you be on O'Shea's channel. And I noticed with the few guests that be going on O'Shea, especially some of the female guests, some make the claim that because we are black men, it's supposed to be a given that we should be doing certain things, you know what I'm saying, in regards to protection and all this other stuff, right? But when I hear from other brothers' streams, they say usually there's always something given to give, And a lot of women don't want to hear that, They feel say that, I got a pussy and I'm a woman, that should be enough. But as we know, as time progresses, that's not how the real world really works. Because if that was the case now, in the 21st century now, then what you've been complaining or bad about, mostly females, will all be attained already without issue. But most of that either got what you want in life or, married, whatever case is, you're good. You're exempt from this conversation. But the ones that don't and always bitch and complain about it, something's wrong. And mostly we don't look at the person in the mirror. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you.
Yeah, I know what you. I get it. I'm gonna say a few things about this. First, O'Shea himself, he likes people with big personalities because it makes a good show, makes for a good talking point. So he likes people like that because, and sometimes those people believe what they're saying, and sometimes it's just one of those things where they know this is the rhetoric that people believe, so they'll be the face of it to put it out there and watch people react because they know, this is what people are actually saying, right? But even with the blanket protection thing, I always find it hilarious because you can't give if you asking for blanket protection, you should have no problem when these men ask for blanket respect. So that's where the issue really lies to me, because you want guys to protect you under all circumstances, but you can't respect these men under all circumstances. So how does it, so they see there is no incentive for what you ask them. When sisters say certain things, one of the major issues with brothers is you want everything and you're giving nothing. There is no incentive for me to do all these things for you. There is no reciprocity. If you want me to break my back for you, what exactly are you going to do for me? Well, if you break your back some more, then one day I might do something. So it's like the old, stick in the carrot thing where people keep moving the goalposts of what it takes to get to some kind of sense of reciprocity. But the men are like, wait a minute, if you haven't done it by now, you're not going to do it, so don't ask me to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think and you're seeing some of the ladies kind of freak out because, truth be told, they don't know how to conduct themselves in a situation where where reciprocity is part of the program.
Mm-hmm.
They can't. They have a difficult time adjusting the quid pro quo. Quote, you know, it's just well, you know, you're just supposed to do it. What are you supposed to do? And if you've been on YouTube, you've seen these people long enough. When people ask the question like, okay, so if a man is supposed to do all of these things, what are you supposed to do as a woman? They freeze up and they say, well, tell me. Like, no, I'm not going to tell you. You know, you should know by now. So what are you supposed to do? And the vast majority of them have no answer. They just leave it open. And I forget who it was. It was either DGS or Sergeant Willie Pete. They had this old clip of these sisters like in the 60s on the panel. And one of the sisters said, you know, I think one of the problems is, because they were discussing the Moynihan report. She was like, one of the problems is, I think we as black women, we don't want to put out with the standards that we of ourselves, because we don't want to have to live by our very standard that we put out for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why you see all this individualism, because if it was a blanket standard, you know, you got to live by it. So you see this opting in and out of, you know, I could do this, but I can't do that, but I'm an exception for this, but, you know, you need to help me with that. So, you know, for the guys, it's like, look, man, I think guys are just fed up with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, either you're going to bring it or you're not.
Mm-hmm. 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 And another thing, since I am talking about this, and I'm gonna be honest with the ladies here, and ladies I might get heat with this. Well, when a man asks y'all ladies, y'all women, what y'all really have done for the black men, I hear the same rhetoric that they stood by black men, and you might hear this too, they do. But when I look at their actions, it don't really reciprocate enough to what they really say. And with me, I always think back and look at them good. That, you know, I don't really go by too much people by the actions. Even myself, I sometimes try to limit what I said I'm gonna do. I normally tell a person, you know, I'll tell a chick personally, I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna see. Always, if you think you wait for me to say what I'm going to do, or you want to look for confirmation of how I feel about you, then obviously you're gonna be misled all the time. And I look at that with women. You know what I'm saying? I don't really go too much by what they always say. I always have to really pay attention to what they're really doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Because you could... Yeah, go ahead. First one.
No, my apologies. I have a habit of doing that, so just so you know. What's striking to me is when a person says, I stood by your side, as if that's an action. You could stand by somebody in a grocery store. That means you're just standing there. That standing by somebody is not an action. But it speaks to two different types of ideology. You know, have you ever been in a conversation with somebody who they thought they said something, or they thought they did something, but they actually didn't? And they're responding to you as if what they thought they said, they actually said, or what they thought they did, they actually did. And it's like, you didn't say that, and you didn't do that. You know, because where a lot of this is emotionalism. You know, I feel this way. I feel like standing by your side is really some altruistic action that inspired you to be something more than what you are today. But reality is you can stand by anybody's side, and that means absolutely nothing as far as an action is concerned. You could stand by a person's side when they're working, and they're working and you're not. You're not helping them whatsoever. You're just standing. You know, that's just my thought on that part of it.
Well said, well said, well said. And the reason why like I said before, I come to this conclusion because I hear a lot of things from ladies talking about they want action. But like as a man, I take the action. And mostly I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for the man. But when I say when I look at y'all 1 point, same figures as you, I say what action you taking. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you can't really demand or ask anything and you have nothing really tangible to bargain. Maybe your looks and maybe if you're young, possibly that's a potential bargain. But, you know, that only holds up for so long. And I think you're originally you're from the South, right?
I was born in New Orleans.
Okay. So, and, you know, to be honest with you, I hear much good things about certain women in certain parts, especially in this country. Like, if you want to deal with certain women, either one's like in Texas or New Orleans. Like, I think one time, you know, Mary Brown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from New Orleans.
I didn't know that part, but it makes
sense. Yeah. Him and his wife, they're originally from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? And usually, what I find with most men that even they deal with certain women they're really picking, I say get yourself a real decent Southern woman. You know what I'm saying? And not just any Southern, just the ones like around them areas, because there's a certain mentality, and I could be wrong, but this is what I'm hearing. Because, you know, I really travel a little more to validate is that, you know, there's a certain mindset with some women they bring to the table. You know, that's from the South. You know, in regards to certain feminine traits and the way how they carry themselves. I don't know if you could answer. Correct me if you want to correct me on that. Yeah.
It's a mixed bag now because femininity is at a low. And, you know, you might be better off trying to holler at somebody from the country more so than the city. You know, because when you're in the city, there's a class system and a caste system that you are kind of siphoning through when you're meeting people and how they were raised. More so in the country, the country life, you have to work. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, the men and women do understand that if you don't work, you don't eat. And and you want somebody to give you a break because you're working. So, you know, if and that part of the companionship dynamic where they understand that because of the country life. You know, people say, I'm going to do this for you. You know, you do that for me later, so on and so forth. So it's, you know, now it's a mixed bag because of so much of the shenanigans going on. And there's too many people, and we got a lot of first world entitlement, and we think we should be entitled to things that are just truthfully unnecessary. And a lot of our own entitlements are the reasons why we can't get along with other people.
Interesting. Okay. But don't you feel that the entitlement thing is, I guess, a trained behavior, learned behavior? A lot of people, especially with the females, for such a long time, they feel they're entitled to a man, particularly, let's say, the black man. With nothing's wrong, because we all supposed to be black, so we like each other, love each other. I understand it. But they feel that, you know, it's I'm a black woman. I am entitled to any man that fits my boat, that rocks my, you know, my little thing.
Right.
I should be given, like something should come to the sky and fall in the lap. Say, here you go, here's a man. They put no work to it, but I say, here, you asked for it, here's receive. Like they got this same mentality, this mindset, and as you know, with the issue they have now, either they could hold a man, get a man, whatever case You hear a lot of stories that they be complain about. That it seems to me that philosophy, that thinking you've been trained that you're entitled to something, is not fanning well to you, sisters. You're gonna have to do something. Hell, you might have to do something different than the average regular chick. Go ahead.
What I've noticed is too many ladies have been raised to think that their feminine mindset and their feminine point of view is the only point of view that matters. So when they deal with men, they really have an aversion to the way men operate and what men and how men think and what men need and what men want. They don't take men into consideration until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the entitlement, because, you know, if you walk into a McDonald's and you ask for a Wingstop menu, you will look out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because you walk into a McDonald's and they have a certain menu, but you figure when you get to McDonald's, they should do what you think that they should do. They should make wings for you. They should make Wingstop fries for you. They should have the celery and carrots for you. And you don't think this is a bad idea. Until you walk into a McDonald's and there's a crowded line, and then you asking for a 10-piece lemon pepper wing, and the people on the line are looking at you like, are you out of your mind?
Mm-hmm.
You just go where that's at. But this is the mentality that we see in society now, where I can say whatever, I could do whatever, I could think whatever, I could believe whatever, but my thought process isn't really challenged, because to a degree, you know, if you're cute enough, you'll let it slide. But also, when you're that entitled, people don't take you seriously enough to say you're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's an uphill. It's skating uphill.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Skating uphill for real. And I'm not saying that, you know, nothing wrong with our women, but we have to be honest here that, you know, this mentality is not going to fly. And the reason why I say it's not going to fly, because you're in a scale now where you have to compete with not other races of women, but also younger sisters like yourself, sister. Especially when you're at a certain age now where you thinking that you're figuring shit out and you want to settle down. You might be at that point where, you know, it is very slim. The pickings are very slim. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And you might, and if you've never been compromised yet in your life, now you probably will have to, or you might have no choice to start compromising just to maybe get a certain man that you want, you know? Because no man's going to take you as is, especially if you have a set of baggage that no man wants to deal with. And the funny thing, since I mentioned this, if you think about it, you know, we're the only race of men that will take our women from any level, whether they're fat, short, have more than one kids here. Hell, we'll even take if they have a certain amount of debt, you know? And I always listen to the brothers when we put ourselves in a scale. There no other race of men does this, you know? Usually, if you have a certain resume that's not fit for the job, they normally take the resume and throw it in trash. They won't even give you a call back. But go ahead.
I've come to find out that that's not true.
Okay.
But we do something Other groups do the very same thing we do, but they draw a line in the sand where they will laugh you out of the building if you expect to be taken seriously as a wife when you got so much baggage. They'll sleep with you if you have kids. They'll sleep with you if you're overweight. They'll sleep with you if you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? But those other groups of men are like, well, you can take me as I am, and I should be. I'm a queen. I'm a wife. They're like, no. No. You better not ever say that. We are the only people that let that part slide. Because the other groups are like, man, please, because their women know automatically if they're a certain age, weight, body type, if they're a parent, they already know the level of man that they get in their group, because the group is like, hey, yeah, you know not that. They on your level because you can't do that. Like, we make it a thing where everybody is on the same level. And that's a problem. Because what's happening is when brothers say, look, no, that's beneath me. Us having standards has become like, hey, it's a culture shock. You know, especially with the, we don't get married at high rates anymore as a group, but it's also a culture shock for a lot of these ladies to think that, wow, like, you mean to tell me I can't find somebody who's going to commit? Because I see it. I see two different things going on right now. One is my coworker showed me her daughters a couple of days ago, and I felt bad for some of the older women. Like, you know what? Y'all ain't got a chance. You ain't got a shot. You young, and her daughters are grown, like 21 and up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all of this combativeness that y'all was on, all this crazy thinking, these brothers gonna skip right over y'all if they see these, because there are a lot of beautiful young women out here. And these brothers are clean. You know what? I ain't got to deal with you and your shenanigans. You crazy. You stuck in your ways. I'm just moving on. That's happening. But also, the other thing I'm also seeing is, ladies are starting to come to grips as an age and like, you know what? I shouldn't have had the baby first, then dated the guy that I should have had the first baby with, then look for a husband after that. Maybe I should have actually did it the right way. And you see this I see this epiphany on a lot of people, like, well, how come I only get certain kind of guys hit on me? Because those are the guys who will take you under these circumstances, because their circumstances are equally screwed up as yours. Now, you don't want to deal with his life, but he's willing to deal with your life because it is his life. And the guys you want to deal with are like, I see your life, and that's not what I want. So, the chickens are coming home to roost when it comes to entitlement.
Indeed. And it's sad that a lot of women are going to fall to wayside with this roosting going now that the reality call is hitting, the real reality call hitting a lot of women. And some of them, in their mind, in the back of their heart, they feel, say, their chance of even, maybe potentially if they want to get married, which a lot of women said they still yearn for and seek for, could be up, for most cases. And some women are comfortable with that, Not a lot, but just enough, or wherever case may, are comfortable with that, And they feel that, a waste opportunity was wasted because they've been fed wrong. I think one of the more detrimental things out of all this is when women feel that there's certain things that they can't really achieve besides, regular financial goals that they already gotten or education, which they pretty much have. I like to call it training, and then they're not educated. But they look back and say, "But damn, I could have probably did some of this and still be a wifey and don't have the bulk of doing too much as a woman." But a lot of them don't really realize that until they get a little older in life. Some get it, not all of them get it, but some starting to come to realization now. Because when they notice every night when they're with a man or, they're holding against their pillow at night, they always think in the back of their mind, what if I would have did something different in life? Because think about it, we as men, everything we do in life, we always reflect what we do. Sometimes we correct ourselves very fast, and some of us try to mitigate a lot of our mistakes, But, when it comes to sisters, depending on their situation, they don't really get until they see themselves less value,
Yeah. First and foremost, I don't believe the both of them when they say they want to be married.
Okay.
Because if it is very simple to put yourself in the arena of wife material. Just be feminine, be pleasant to be around, be considerate. Cater to your man. That's pretty much the gist of it. But when you look around, I think people want to be married in spite of not being feminine. I can still be married, but I'm not going to be feminine. I can still be married, but I'm not going to cater to a man. I can still be married, but I'm not going to be pleasant to be around. It's like, no, that's not reality. Because if you reverse the situation, and the guy said, "I want to be a husband, but I'm not going to provide for my family." I want to be a husband, but I don't want to protect my family. I want to be a husband, but I don't want to love my wife or our kids. But I want to be a husband. It doesn't even equate. And people don't want to admit what they're looking for is somebody to bail them out because everybody sees themselves as an exception to the rule. It's come to that point where everybody feels like, yes, I have baggage, but I'm different and I'm special. So if everybody's walking around thinking they're different and they're special, and their circumstances aren't red flags like they are for everybody else, you got a society of delusional people who say they want something that they are not equipped to be. To me, I think everybody just fronting. Not everybody, but the vast majority of people are just fronting. Because now they're talking about getting the bag. They want the bag before they want the man.
But nothing wrong with people securing a bag. And I don't mind women because they said in nature they're supposed to be hypergamous in nature. But when you reflect, especially on women, if that's the case, why is your choices, even in mating per se, is not really subpar to what is considered hypergamous? I see this constant. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Here's the thing. It's not what you do, but it's how you do it. if a person wants to quote unquote secure the bag, you probably should do it in a way that respects that the man had to bust his ass to get the bag. Respect his grind getting the bag when you want to secure the bag. Don't secure the bag because you want the bag, but he busted his ass 5, 10, 20 years to get one. For you to just come along and say, it's mine. That, that's a little part of the nuance that I see with a lot of these people doing this stuff.
Like for example, I think, what's it, Kevin Garnett's wife? I'm going to do that example. There could be more examples. That's the first thing come to mind. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, that's part of that, old reality TV culture where I got the bag. But people don't realize if you don't respect, if you don't do it in a respectful way, you're just a person who likes to blow money. And you like to blow other people's money.
Yep. I agree.
And normally that doesn't work out well, because what you're seeing about people, quote unquote, getting nervous and hitting the wall is because they spent so much time blowing other people's money, they've never learned how to actually earn anything for themselves. And they didn't respect what they already had. That's why, to me, that's why I see a society of people trying to double back to the very bridges that they burned. Hypergamy is, I get it. But, if you get, at least be smart about it. Don't go out here flaunting that you spent somebody else's hard-earned money and think that's an attractive trait.
That's what's flaunt to other women, which is a no-no. But I think it's some of these females' nature to really flaunt with other women, because it's like a competitive type of thing. You know what I'm saying? To get rare pool of men as possible,
that is a competitive thing. So they compete with the ring. They used to compete with the ring. I got a husband. He married me. This is my ring. Look at the size of the ring, the type of the ring. Look how much went into this ring. This is how much, if he can afford this ring, look what else he can afford. You get what I'm saying? But it comes at a price when you're trying to be so competitive that you cut off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah.
That's what part of the single mother epidemic is actually. I can get the bag without marrying. I can have a kid. He got to pay me. I get the bag without marrying. I can get to the state. I can get the bag without marrying. Or I can marry him and divorce him, and he got to pay me, quote unquote, alimony. He got to give me the house, and I can get the kids. I get the bag, and I married him, but I actually don't have to be with him. But see, when the kids grow up and become grown, all you knew how to do was siphon the bag, and now what happens? You don't know how to get anything, and now you're looking for somebody to help.
Yeah, and that...
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Continue. I'm listening. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
This is why you've seen that increase of women in their 30s and early 40s getting STDs and popping out kids. Because the kids have been the bag.
It's a financial security, if you think about it, because the state warrants it. But let's go a little deeper. And guys, I'm gonna open lines in like a few minutes. I see y'all waiting on the tube. I remember when Cerulean brought up no-fault divorce that was established during the mid-'70s, and I feel with a lot of policies put into play, it also fractures a lot of these what we call quote-unquote marriages to really go more in a downward spiral. Because usually if there was no incentive of, you get some, if you divorce a man, that obviously a lot of people that married would not be divorcing left and right as fast as we've seen now for the over 45, 46 years. You know, when I look at the marriage rate now, some don't even last even 2 years now. You know,
because of the no fault divorce.
Mhm.
Like, people don't realize a no fault divorce means you could do everything right and somebody just change their mind, or they meant to, or they were intending to divorce you when they married you. You know, because it's no fault here. It's got to be fault. You know, and some people forget that, you know, people get married for long enough to, like, there are stories of people who, they got married, filed no fault divorce to get to a person's retirement. Because once you get married, you know, they can technically get a claim to a person's retirement. So you work 10, 15, 20, 30 years, all of a sudden, oh, I'm getting divorced. It's no fault of your own. But when you retire in 10 years, I'm going to need the money that you had been working for the previous 20 before you met me, you know, for the rest of my dying days too. That right there lets you know, this is why guys look at it the way they do. Like, you know what?
There's no benefit.
There's no fault. Yeah, there's no benefit to marriage, but the also part is when you introduce no fault divorce, you know, this is the reason why they point the finger at ladies so much. Is because what is it? 75-80% of divorces are initiated by women.
I think it's more than half. I would say if I would go further numbers, we could say close to 90%. And if you think about that 9%, 92% of the wealth of the man, if he's married, goes to the women.
Right, but I think it's like 75-80% is women who file it, who initiate it, who say, I want to be divorced. So what winds up happening is you're seeing men look at it like she wants to be married, but 80, you know, close to 3/4 or 4/5 of them gonna say, not really. You know, I want to be married for the wedding. I want to be married for the honeymoon, but I don't want to be married for the responsibility. But see, no fault means no responsibility, no accountability. You know,
which a lot of women don't want to hold accountability to their actions. So I follow you. Continue.
Right, because adultery, you know, used to be okay. That's you know, the adultery. Infidelity means that somebody's at fault, right? If somebody does something quote unquote illegal, you cover it under the law. Your spouse can't testify against you, but you might get divorced afterwards. You know why? Because of, you know, criminality. You hear what I'm saying? Or something that happens like that. But when it's just nothing, and people don't realize how stupid it sounds, but it's so normal. Oh, they got married for irreconcilable differences. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
You know, we could have a difference of it could be, okay, you telling me I could be a Saints fan and you could be a Falcons fan, and we have a difference. We can't come together in football season because we have rivalry teams. It's irreconcilable differences. I can't be with you. You know, maybe we can make it work out in basketball. Hey, these laws are stupid.
Yeah, and not only they're stupid, and we could take a step back with this divorce because women initiate divorce. I'm not sure what the numbers said about divorce of couples. I'm not sure if divorce ends because either it's an infidelity or it's a financial issues. I'm not sure which is either the two or one or the other. But at the end of the day,
those are the top two.
It's both, right?
Yeah, those are the top two. They kind of flip. You know, either sex or money.
And you see the power of sex and money? See that? You can't have one without the other. So when we think about that alone, that a lot of these females, because they're the ones that initiate divorce the most than the men, and people never ask, why do men never divorce women the same rate as women? Because I'm not sure if you know, AR, but I think most men, that when they decide to take that greater step, they know what the consequence is coming, if they're aware of it, that, if they have to divorce, Because most men don't, on the average, so if they got married and they decide to marry their baby mama, their life, whatever case, or the woman that they feel is the one, a man doesn't really just make the side fact to say, I'm just going to divorce tomorrow. Because when we make a decision, we stick with it, whether the consequence or no consequence.
I think
different.
I think we look at the long-term commitment. I'm not going to say that guys stick with it for life, but I think most guys will stick with it. Most guys are more so prone to stick with it until the kids are grown now. And that used to be like both sides had that understanding. Okay, we're not working out, but we're gonna stick this out until these kids grown, and then we're gonna go our separate ways. We made this family. We're gonna see this family through, and when this family gets on their own or they get close to adulthood, then we'll go our separate ways. Now people just, I just can't do it no more. And that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem. Yeah, and who really hurts it is the children that is produced through this union.
Right.
And you're right. Most men, even on the average, they will make sure their children get to a certain age. Then after a while, they might just send their walking papers to their wives. But overall, they're not going to sit there and decide, we're just going to get divorced and then figure it out. No, because we men, on the average, like we don't notice, we really do care about our children and see their future most of the time. I can't speak for all these other dudes that want to complain about that don't want to be in their children's life or they don't want mountain responsibilities. That's on you, baby girl. Because
I have a bone to pick with that ideology, though.
Okay.
I get it. I believe that ideology to me is a half truth.
Okay.
Because what you notice is, like when people say the fathers aren't in the home, but we're talking about a group of mothers who are cool and accustomed to hearing other mothers say things like, I could do bad all by myself. I'm the mother and the father. Or I'm gonna put him on child support. He ain't gonna see my child. You can't have it both ways. Or I'm gonna move to another city, to another state with my child. And then turn right around and say the fathers aren't in the home. Because if when they get single, it's okay for their boyfriend to be in the home just fine. The dude that they're attracted to, he could be in the home just fine. And that ain't even his kid. But you want these fathers in the home. But truth be told, some of them want the father in the home after their unilateral decision state. They didn't want dad in the home when dad was like, you didn't got to have him in the home, matter of fact. I've seen too many times where people have an issue with co-parenting. I had a baby this week, you had a baby next week. We're not going to do that. Why not? Because I don't want to do that. Why not? Now, I can't go out, I can't do this, I can't be with this, I'm stuck with these children. No, you're not stuck. You said you wanted the kid all the time. So to me, it's an ideology that's rooted in the half truth. Because I think a lot of people they conveniently forget some of the situations that they put themselves into with their own emotional, tactical shenanigans. So that's just what I thought about that, man.
I see. And one other thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to open the lines because I know people are, I don't got much callers, but I'm going to let them speak their piece. It's funny that this co-parent, and I have an issue with the co-parent situation because nowadays it takes time out of your time, yes, men and women, to decide what we're going to do with the children, And I find some baby moms are disagreeable at times. Not all, but not quite enough, when it's time for, their children to go see their father. Like, it makes me want to say, why are you holding on to your children, especially the boys? In regards, they need an actual male figure for actual guidance. Especially if the man you fucking suck, either you like it or not, if you don't feel suitable, at the end of the day, you got to give him leeway to really see his sons and daughters. I just don't get it.
I don't. I find it more. Okay, if he's a deadbeat, I find that they're cool with that because he reinforces the negative stereotype that she was the better person. But if he's productive and he's competent and he's actually a good parent, that's where the fighting comes from. Because I don't want to introduce this child to know that they're actually a better person and a better parent. They don't, good fathers don't fit the negative stereotype. So you got to create a villain where one doesn't exist to make yourself look like a victim or an angel in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. True. I follow you. All right, let me open this line. Let me see if it will open up. One second. You there, Joshua? Oh, shit. Let me see if it open up. Oh, damn. Hold on. Sorry about the M. Joshua, you there? Okay. He's probably not ready yet. Let me open another line. Open another line. Who's this?
Big J here. And LR Movement, let's stay moving. Congratulations, LR Movement. This is your fellow Texan here. LR Movement, have you ever heard of Shelby Sharp, the lawyer from Dallas?
No, because I'm in Houston.
Right. But Shelby Sharp, well, he went in front of the Texas legislature about last year, 2 years ago, when he said because the reason why there is a rise, one of the tribulations to the rise of special education and boys not being efficient in schools is because of the no-fault divorce has created the condition for boys not being as educated as girls. Would you agree with that?
Not necessarily the no-fault divorce part, but I definitely understand that people do not want to admit that they sabotage their sons from getting an education. And they push their daughters to get one, especially in our community. Because there's no way for if the boys play sports, you're there. If the boys on an honor roll, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So these boys get pushed to be workhorses that hopefully he's the one to take care of the whole family. And if he can't make it, then we discard him. When the girls are not pushed that way, it's a support system. We got to come together. We got to make sure she'll be all right, so she doesn't have to depend on a man. And it's weird because even the girls wind up growing up and I don't want to depend on a man, and then turn around years later and say, I need a man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because what you know, I don't hear this from the black manosphere. You know, I never hear your major black manosphere figures ever point out the point about the education system is breeding the prospect of the disrespect of boys and men. Because, you know, like some people say, according to some sociologists and some political people, they say that our education system are making boys into defective girls rather than letting boys have his own agency or reinforce his own confidence. So once a boy is educated, he doesn't have to worry about a woman's bullshit. You're right. You know, you don't have to worry about that bullshit. And we got critics, whether that's the original manosphere or the black manosphere, you sit there and say, well, you black men are weak. No, it's not weakness. It's not weak when you actually identifying the problem. The problem stems from a culture that is trying to hinder young boys from, you know, with the ADHD medication, the miseducation of boys, the overly this myth of toxic masculinity, just like the Gillette commercial that came out about 2-3 months ago. I mean, you're seeing all these things. It's from the higher education, you know, from academia to the government and to our entertainment. It presents men, the heterosexual men, as potential rapists, and especially you have famous college professors as Andrew Dorkin, who says that all sex from heterosexual men is rape. But yet we don't see, yet there is no pushback against personalities like that. But yet if we bring it up, we're weak. We're slow. We don't have no daddies in the house, just like somebody saying in the chat room. But anyway, I hang back. What is your view on that, LR?
Okay, well, on the educational level, this goes back further, maybe 30, 40 years, because people forget the things that boys, that people go to trade school for, was built into high school. People forget, you know, the carpentry, the woodwork, plumbing, electrical work, shop class as far as, you know, mechanics. That was all built in high school. The music program, we're playing instruments and people having bands.
Right.
And that was all built in. So what got gutted was actually all of the things that were catered to maintain their society. That's why people could say, you know, people could graduate high school and get a good union job. Why? Because they were proficient in things that was necessary for production. They could build stuff. They could create stuff. You know, they could weld. All things that you need in society. Now you go to trade school for those type of things. And sometimes you go to college. This is why STEM to this day is still the most economically productive faction of higher education. And you don't want to admit that what they took out of schools was not just, it wasn't just disruptive to the boys, it is disruptive to American economy because the country doesn't produce much anymore. Because you don't teach people to produce anything.
Right.
You know, now they're in the feeling.
Right. And it's just like what happened. I know people like to bring up the 70s and all that, right? It's like what happened in 1970s. Everybody blames it on the Great Society programs. I think blaming the Great Society program is a misnomer. The gold shock of 1971 was the culprit. because when you decrease the value of the dollar, and most men back then, there was auto mechanics. There was most, especially black men. Most black men was working in the steel mills in the Midwest, from Philadelphia on up to Michigan, on up to Chicago, to the St. Paul, Minneapolis area. That is the Rust Belt. So a lot of these black men went south up to those areas, started to work. But when there was a problem, in the Nixon shock of 1971, when he devalued the dollar, it created a problem. Black men can no longer attain the money that he used to be getting. Therefore, with no fault divorce, women started to divorce men, because if a man can't keep a job or can't facilitate certain basic functions as paying bills, women are going to leave. So Big J can't create the dynamic.
Big J.
Yeah, but there's a nuance.
Let me ask Big J a question. So you believe that when a man loses his job, right, or loses the work, for lack of better words, that would give a lot of these females that's married to black men or men in general the firepower to say it's time to divorce and take them wherever they'll get and move on?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that is automatic. But if you take that along with the drug war, and men got babies to feed. So if men got babies to feed, he doesn't have a college education. Mm-hmm. Where's he going to go? Oh, with the drug war and with all these red line districts and all of that, he has to sit there and steal and sometimes kill to feed his babies. And therefore, and women, you also create a social condition. Women under pressure, they're going to sit there and use the welfare system to leave him. And also no fault divorce to leave.
That's like it, to me, even with the drug part, it part of it stems from the declining skill set that was passed down from generation to generation to men. Because even when you look at, say, the crack era, the crack era is partly dealt with the hip hop era in the beginning in the 80s. Mm-hmm. But part of the hip hop era was block parties. Part of the block parties was they used to siphon electricity from the light post. How did you learn to do that? You learn to do that from high school, when you learn how to, mess with the wire. How did these kids learn how to pop the water hose? You learn to do that because you knew the tools to use to do it. It's part of what makes a man useless now if he loses his job is different, is you don't have the skills that normally men of the 60s, 50s, 60s, even before the 50s and 60s, like Reconstruction up to like the 70s. Hey, the reason I say that is because I think of like Roger and Zapp. Roger and Zapp was a great band. But people forget Roger and Zapp also were construction workers. They would build houses and flip houses, so they knew how to do music, but they also knew how to do, cement, how to do electric work, how to put up the foundation, how to put the foundation in, how to put up the skeleton, how to roof, and they taught their kids to do it even at that young age. Nowadays, if you lose your job, it's like your only skill that you could think of is what you did for a living then. You can't just hop and say, you know what, let me be a mobile mechanic because I know how to do that. You know what, let me learn how to, let me go work on a construction site because I can still do that. Let me work on floors and tiling because I can do that. Let me work on some plumbing because I can. Nowadays, men aren't as multifaceted. shade tree mechanics had multiple jobs. You know, when I walk outside, you know, it cracks me up. I don't see that many men even doing it, cutting their grass no more. I don't see that many men getting on the roof. I don't see that many men fixing their car in their own garage. I don't see that many men with tools. You know, I don't see that many men fishing and hunting. Because if you got all these different skills, you could put food on the table. You know, but the drug epidemic to me is part is what let me know to a degree. Yeah, we ain't got that many skills anymore because, you know, when you turn to drugs, that's really quick, fast money. You know, it don't really take that much skill to be a drug dealer. People really want to be honest.
It really takes a skill. To be honest with you, it's like baking pie. Catch my drift?
Yeah. People act like it's a, you know, it's not really a skill to be a drug dealer. Drug addicts want drugs. You go to it, that's like calling a grocery store a drug dealer. The food is there, you're going to go because you want it. They don't have to deal you nothing. They don't got to sell it to you. You just got to put it on the shelf.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I think I know Big Jake's still there. He probably left. But, yeah. That's what it is, you know. And you know, it's funny, in regards to relationships, that who wants it more, and you can go either or with this, that we could all be convinced that, you know, when people make up their minds, they know what they really want, and they really do what's necessary to attain what they want. I can't deal with somebody that's fake and don't want to really conceptualize what they really want. A lot of females feel that a lot of men don't know what they want, but I always go back to a lot of these young boys that become men. They're not groomed enough, in my opinion, to really know what really is what they want, especially their desires and hopes for themselves as they get older. You know, because I see a lot of dream killers lately. And last time I checked, I don't see a lot of black males that chastise their own sons and daughters to tell what they cannot do. I always find this with a lot of the black sisters. Black females do this the most. And we wonder why most of our children that become men can't aspire to do better or be better. You know?
Right.
When you tell about you ain't going to be worth nothing, you ain't shit most of your life, what is the end result that happens? You don't want to amount to nothing or don't want to be shit. You know? Words have power. They have meaning. You know? And if you're that type of person that, go ahead. What do you get, Marty?
I'm a firm believer that, and it's going to sound cold, but I'm a firm believer that words don't have power.
Okay.
Words are only as powerful as the action that you can hitch to. You know, if I tell you, you know, I'm unstoppable, that's just a word. Now, if I show you that I'm unstoppable, then that word means that's true. You know, as far as like the relationship part, I think, you know, from my experiences, from what I've seen, is a lot of adults who are in arrested development who still act like kids want an adult relationship, but they want somebody to help them to grow to be an adult when they're already supposed to be an adult. And not understanding the frustration of you want a grown relationship, but you want somebody to help you be grown when you should be grown by now. And I think that's just a point of frustration for both genders. You know, as far as telling people they're not going to be anything, telling the boys they're not going to be stuff, I think that's fundamentally part of the disrespect that goes on with grown men and grown women, even with this gender war thing. Is you, even if a guy made something of himself, he's not good enough. So, truth be told, he'll never be good enough no matter what he does, because you've been taught that he's beneath you. This is part of the reason why, even when you talked about hypergamy, and I've said this before, I'm not convinced that our women can practice hypergamy, because to practice hypergamy, you have to see the group, the male counterpart as above you. I think our group of women see us as beneath them. So you can't go up on a group that you think is beneath you, even if the reality is they're above you. Because hypergamy is a caste system and a class system. And when you look in America, it's looked as if the black woman is above the black man as far as caste is concerned. But class, we're above the women. So it really doesn't matter. Depending on who you're dealing with, depends on how they're able to practice the hypergamy.
But even my the good friends, they would say otherwise, that it's in a woman's nature to be hypergamous. But how you say, Amar, that it is something more than that. It's more of a caste class system put in place for that so-called pergamy, because it doesn't represent in nature for your eyes. Am I right?
Yeah, because hypergamy is part of a caste and class system, because you're trying to date up. Everything, the hypergamy is all about dating up. I want to talk to this person because they can put me in a higher tax bracket or a higher social bracket.
Yeah. But hold on, BJ, hold on. So, but what's wrong with that? Wouldn't it be better for even, let's say, some of our sisters to really, date up, or even not only them but also ourselves, like for both the sex? What's wrong with dating up? Do we want more out of ourselves?
Nothing's wrong with dating up if you can acknowledge that they're up. To me, this is one of the issues. People want to date up with somebody that they feel is beneath them. They had the six-figure conversation. They have to make six figures. So if he has to make six figures, you're dating up economically. But if you feel like I'm dating up economically because he makes six figures, but socially he's beneath me, then you're still technically you're dating financially up, and socially you feel like you're dating beneath me. So he doesn't know. He doesn't know that you think that he's beneath you, but you want him to be at a certain level.
Let me ask you something. See, no, I'm gonna make like a statement. I believe that women do not understand what consequences are, and because just like somebody in the chat room who thinks that I don't understand how women, how they process their thinking. They think that getting into a relationship, it's supposed to be easy to get in a relationship. When in fact men are the ones pursuing. Women has the last say. Women are the ones doing the choosing. It's like what Esther Vilar say. Women has choices. Men has responsibilities, and women have all the choices to the access of men. But like men, we have to be doing the pursuing. And women don't understand how much work though he has to go through He doesn't understand. These women do not understand how much work he has to go through to get to your ass.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're acting like though it's easy. No, it ain't easy. Being rejected over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy. If you're out there pursuing. So maybe I hope one day the role's gonna be reversed and women understand how men see the world.
Okay.
So I'm a firm believer that they understand consequences, but I'm also a firm believer that the tables turn at different ages. Like I'm a sports fan. It reminds me of when you see an athlete who is accustomed to a certain type of response. He's accustomed to being a starter. He's accustomed to being an all-star. He's been playing 10, 15 years, and he doesn't register to him that, you know what, you're diminishing, you're getting long in the tooth. You got a name, but you're not as good as you once were. And now he wants to now they got to get rid of him and send him to another team, and he feels like I'm still the man. No, you're not the man you once were.
Like Carmelo Anthony?
Like
Carmelo Anthony?
I mean, you can use Melo, but that's the thing, and even in a situation like Melo, people say that, he still got game, but he's rubbed people the wrong way, so they're trying to get back at him. Depends. But either way, you've hit a wall because time is undefeated. But if you always think you're the exception to life, you're never going to get out when the getting is good. You're never going to put yourself in a situation where it works for you. I was more so thinking of Adrian Peterson. Because Adrian Peterson, he didn't want to take the discount. He didn't want to say, look, I want y'all to pay me everything in Minnesota. They was like, you can't. They got rid of him. He went to New Orleans. They didn't play him like he thought. He was still Adrian Peterson, but guess what? We got other people here. We don't need you. We don't need you like Minnesota needs you. We'll send you to Arizona. Good days, bad days. But then he got to Washington. He got in a situation where they were forced to need him, and he looked like Adrian Peterson again. He could still have the same amount of effectiveness, but you won't be looked at the same because you have to be in a certain situation. And what I see is people want to be exempt of the day that you aren't going to have it like you once did.
I agree. Okay. All right. I got a new caller. Let me open this. Is that you, ABC?
All right. What's happening, Gary?
Yes, how you doing?
Hey.
What's on your mind?
Well, this is always an interesting subject, good subject. And the guest, I'm sorry, brother, I didn't get your name. Is it I Am Movement? Is that your?
LAR. Don't worry about it.
Okay, it's all good. It's all good. I'm not quite sure where you're standing on this, but my take on these relationships has always been fairly basic, that a big amount of the issues or misunderstandings has to do with false expectations. There's been social engineering going on, and nowadays, for the past 10 years or so, men as well as women think that we the same. A guy got a job, you think she got to have a job, and vice versa. She cooks and she think you got to cook. Everything is equal, and the interpretation of equal means we doing the same stuff. You know, it's like we have given up or forgotten of the idea that we can be separate. Well, separate but equal. You know, I know that was the whole race thing, but the idea is, man, we different. We are built different. Obviously, we're built different. But there's something that comes along with that. You know, the responsibilities that we have is different. So that this thing about these false expectations, I heard what Big J said earlier, where women are, you know, they're not appreciating that we have to chase after them and you turn us down, all stuff. That's always been the game. You know, I mean, they want somebody too, but, you know, they're going to have a baby. This is like a nature thing, so they're going to be kind of choosy. They want to make sure they, at least in the past it has been like that. In recent times with social engineering, it's been so confused that they all mixed up and they choosing knuckleheads. But the basic idea is that, you know, when they looking at a mate, you know, the nature says this needs to be somebody who can hold it down and provide, because you're going to have this baby and you're going to be out of commission. You know, I mean, well, I say out of commission, but, you know, you ain't going to be out there working and hustling and doing all this stuff. You're going to be with this baby. So you need somebody that's going to take care of things. And as far as the guys, you know, it has been, well, we know our role. We know what we're doing. We know what we're about. So we're looking for a helpmate, as they say. You know, so we different. But the issue is that we expecting her to, you know, bring home the bacon just like I bring home the bacon. Well, if she's doing that, then don't be expecting all this other shit. She carrying as much load as you got, and vice versa. You know, she can't expect you to be cooking and cleaning all stuff. Hey, I work like you do, so you need to cook and clean stuff. And you can't be like, no, I ain't doing that. It's just some bullshit, man. It's the social engineering is what I see.
Okay, this is going to give me a second to piece through this, because I did this years ago. Years ago, I did a video called Feminism Created Another Economy. And the premise of that was people, and I had to talk to some sisters about this maybe like 6 months, a year ago, with the aspect of the brother was talking about that we both work and we both make money, so we both tired. The truth be told, that depends on your industry, one. Because we can both work 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, but it'd be two completely different industries. If I'm working with my body and my hands, my 8, 10, and 12 hours is different from yours if you in the air conditioned environment. You know, so people overvalue their work. Because even when I was talking to sisters about this, like, but I'm mentally strained. I'm mentally drained. I'm like, okay, you mentally drained. How about I put you out in the sun in the summertime when it's 100 degrees for 10 hours and tell me, you know, and let me, and and I'll be in the AC for 10 hours and tell you I'm mentally drained. You tell me I'm a nutcase. But the reason I say feminism created an economy is because what happened is this. She doesn't want to cook. She doesn't want to clean. Cool. Right? So you can go out to eat. So the fast food industry is because you don't want to cook. Cool. So now you can replace a home cooked meal from a wife with every restaurant in the planet. She don't want to clean, you can get a maid service 2-3 times a month. That replaces a wife taking care of the house. Somebody, you know, same thing with the TV dinners and all that other stuff. Microwave, all that other stuff is built into that cake. You flip this around. The husband used to do the yard. Now you pay a guy to do landscaping. Now you need your car fixed. Now you're paying a guy to fix your car. Your husband used to be able to do that. So you outsourcing the roles of a husband and a wife with all of these industries in America, not thinking about one major thing. This is why the bulk of the country is in debt. It's not just education. You know, you got people who get accustomed to not cooking. You got people who get accustomed to not cleaning. You got people getting so accustomed, now they take an Uber everywhere because, you know, driving is just too much. You want to feel like you're getting chauffeured everywhere you go. We've created an economy based on replacing the opposite sex. And now what? Now what happens is I still want the opposite sex for sex, but there is no necessarily role because I can pay somebody. But I would say, women understand this more than men because women get tired of paying for stuff faster than men do because we always paying for something. We consider paying for stuff a built-in cost of doing business as a man. Because we still pay for dates. It's so bad that men pay for weddings when it's actually the female's family who's traditionally supposed to pay for the wedding.
I didn't know that.
Because, it's traditionally the female's family who pays for the wedding. So part of the divorce nowadays comes from, part of the financial part about the money usually comes from you overspent on the wedding day. Now you're in a financial bind, and it causes a relationship issue.
And do you think that? Do you think that because of that tradition, that the family of the wife, of the bride, does that include improving the right that women have more of a choice while the men has the responsibility?
From my understanding, the way I looked at it historically, the way I view it came from the understanding this is part of the reciprocity of the thing. Because if you take on, because it was the family's decision, you remember the father used to walk the daughter down the aisle. So if the family decided that you were worthy enough to actually be responsible for the daughter. So the family paid for the wedding because why would I give you my daughter, but I'm going to give you this debt with her when I want you to provide for her. We're going to give her this day, but you're going to take care of the provisions from this day forward. So, but now the families have failed because the families don't provide for their daughters, and they're looking for men to come along who subsequently, they said, were beneath the women to come along, provide them with their wedding day, and the family gets off scot-free. And then he has to provide for her for the rest of, quote-unquote, their lives and in his death, and even if they get divorced. So, truth be told, these families have created this entitlement because they have no responsibility to reciprocate what their role actually is of making her wife material to begin with, or vetting out the man who she's going to get married to. They don't care because they just want to be off the hook.
Hey, brother. The issue with that is those families ain't intact in the first place. Most of these families, it's a single parent, a mother mostly, and she's already struggling. So as far as her providing some money for her daughter getting married, she barely making it, holding it down herself. So that goes to that family structure being broken up.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Big J. Go ahead, Air.
Take this into consideration. Even with that being true, you notice how when the family will come to the wedding and won't give a damn. The whole family will come to the wedding and won't give a damn. It used to be if you can't help that way, at least bring money. Now people try to, they bring the gifts, but they don't bring no cash. So you just pay for your family to come, eat up all the damn food. We got a big old party. We rented out a church. She got a dress. You rented a tux. They got the ring, the pictures and everything. You pay for everybody to come eat for free, and the whole family decides they're not even gonna give a dime back. Mm-hmm. And then you got to pay for the honeymoon.
There's something to that, but then the other side of it is, when did we start deciding we needed to have these big weddings and spending $10,000 and all that shit too? So, the whole point was that we gonna get together. You're gonna be mine. I'm gonna be yours. We're gonna be partners. Right. And you want some kind of celebration, but do you have to spend all that money? And especially if the family ain't got it and stuff. But that's us buying into this social engineering.
But I'm gonna say this too, though. It's like what Ben Stiller said this on Larry King about I want to say about 15 years ago. He was on the Larry King show, and he said this: women want the wedding, men want the marriage. And this is true when you see how certain women and their expectations. They want this big wedding. They want the white dress and all that other ridiculous items. Rather than it seems to me with the hypergamous nature is that they want things to be elaborate when marriage is not supposed to be about just that wedding or that wedding day. It's for what's after the wedding, and I see these high expectations, and then they get mad, and then they blame everybody else for their mindset.
But in those cases that happens, again, who has responsibility in that? The guy that gets with this girl that is demanding all that stuff, what's up with you? That should be a red flag. It's like, look, so it's like that? Is you going to be that demanding? We got to have 10. I ain't making all that kind of money. You ain't got the kind of money. Your family ain't got. Where we going to start off this way? Going into debt? Wait a minute. Maybe I done chose the wrong one. Let's talk about this. That's what you're supposed to do if you got your stuff together.
But then again, this is American culture. American culture at this particular point, and for some time now, has been very much so materialistic. But now, maybe in the last 20 years, debt has become a part of the culture. Like, people don't look at debt like it's a problem. I don't understand that, but
I don't understand it either. I don't understand it either, and they don't understand. With this debt, even with this American economy debt, most of our people take debt like it's not a big deal. And I have a problem with it.
Exactly. Debt is the problem.
The same marriage debt is no different to me than college debt. When you just, I'm going to go to college, get a degree, and I'm going to get all this. Wait, slow down now. That's too much debt. There's too much debt to go in that particular occupation. You don't get debt, go into an occupation that makes it fiscally responsible that you could do that. But it's the same thing with marriage. To me, it reminds me of having a graduation your freshman year and then getting mad that you got to actually go to class until you're a senior. This
hey brother,
is operating in society. Yes, sir.
Can I ask you a question? Do you believe that the man is the head of the household?
And when it becomes a husband, yes.
Okay, so and I agree with that. I think so too. So in the case that we were talking about, we're talking about getting married, and as you pointed out, I totally agree. This culture is about hey, we go into debt, it ain't a problem, all this kind of stuff. But as a man, and you are about to enter into matrimony, you know this person, this girl, you love her, and y'all love each other and all this kind of stuff. You should know each other well enough by then, and the expectation is that y'all already have talked about this kind of thing. But as the head of the household, as the man, if she's like, hey, I want all this, I want this, then you, as that head of the household, the man, should, be able to explain to her, look, baby, I love you more than anything. You know how much I love you. But we about to enter into marriage. This is it. This is for life. And we going to start off in the debt like this? And I ain't going into all the language, but I'm saying that between your relationship and you owning your position as the head of the household, you should be able to communicate to her that, look, this ain't a wise thing. It's not only not a wise thing, this is a bad thing that we're going to start off. We ain't even married yet. At the point of getting married, we're going to start off going into that. You want kids, don't you? I want kids. We want a life. We want a house. We're going to start off going into debt over this, over a little celebration. We can laugh and have fun and drink and all this stuff, and it ain't got to be $10,000 in debt, $20,000 in debt. And she should understand that. And if y'all having trouble reaching an understanding, then that is a sign to you that something is wrong here. She might not be she ain't the one.
But ABC, it goes back again. Okay.
Let me take that from this angle. Add that to the society, right? That says, I'm going to throw you an elaborate prom that can rival a wedding, because you probably never going to get married because I ain't teaching nothing. Add that to the same society that we need to go on vacation and take trips and on our credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Add that to the society that, you know what we're going to do? I tell you what. I'm going to go to college for 4 years, but I don't want to take all of those hours, so I'm going to stretch it out to 5 or 6 because this is so stressful. But you know what? I'm going to take my student loan money and I'm going to go to Cabo, to Cancun, to Miami. And it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Add that to the same society where we're talking about, people buying alcohol on their credit card in the grocery store for the weekend because they need credit beer more than they need food with cash.
Mm-hmm.
This is what, even if a man could say that, and plus we got to add that to society where we having baby showers.
Thank you.
And add that to the society where, because I know if you're old enough, you remember this. When you had a birthday party, they threw the party for you. You didn't pay for a birthday party for your damn self.
Mm-hmm.
See, common sense is inverted in America to the point where, the family will be on your neck. You need to have this wedding for my baby. It needs to be big for my baby. How come y'all ain't making it big for your baby? Huh? See, listen, this is the problem. See, I got things going on. We got a society where people spend money on felons in their family while they leave the children in college broke. You don't hear people leveraging their home to make sure their kid get a degree.
Nope. Some of them got no homes.
So you know what, brother? I totally get what you're saying, and I agree. This is the society that we live in today. But what you're explaining is the absence of men. Men don't follow the trends in society. We're all human beings and we're all citizens. So, we participate. We participate. What's that? Yeah.
Create the trend.
There you go. You're right. We, as a man, you on your thing. You looking, you're seeking frontiers. You out there, you doing your thing. And when you dating, we're talking about marriage. So at the point of marriage, again, as a man, you ain't jumping into that 1 month and then you jump, You dating, you messing around, you filling it out and all this kind of stuff. But at some point along the way, you start to feel like, damn, I want to keep her. And my issue there, or my point there, is that all that stuff that you're talking about, which is absolutely true in this society, as a man, and what men do is along the way, they filling this out and they getting this idea. And those discussions will be had. So at the point that we start talking about marriage, all of this stuff is clarified. And she knows me enough to know that I ain't wasting money on, this one day thing that comes and goes and all this kind of stuff. The cake that's, whatever it is, $1,000 for a cake or some shit that's going to be eaten. This stuff. And we ain't trying to impress nobody. Marriage is about me and you. Man, I love you so much. We're going to do this. We're going to live together. We're going to make babies. We're going to be happy. We're going to have a little house. It's me and you. That's what all this is about. All that spending, all that money and stuff. And I understand that's probably a $100 million business, weddings and all that stuff. That's fine. Let those people do that. But I'm a man, and I'm about providing. I'm going to provide for you. And we ain't going to be spending money on foolishness. We're going to have fun. We're going to do our thing. But we ain't going into debt over something like this. We go into debt over buying a house, maybe on getting 2 cars, because I got to have one, and I want you to be able to come and go when you need to go and all that stuff. We'll real stuff. But a one-day thing?
I'm glad you said that, because that's the part that most men don't talk about. Because when you're the head, when you're making head decisions, you got to put all the incentives out up front. And what you just said is, look, you had this big wedding, or did you want this house when you called? Because big wedding, no house, no car. Small wedding, house, car. You want to impress people today, or you want to live a lifestyle that's comfortable tomorrow? Which one you want to do? Now,
right on.
You're not. You're laying out the options as is. You don't have to. Now, if she's fooling to say the wedding, you're gonna be like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. But what we're gonna do is this. But that this is a part of lacking, not just manhood, but the guts to say, this is what we're doing for this reason, and I know I'm right. You might feel bad, but you'll feel better next year because I have the foresight to know. Would you rather look at some pictures of one day, or you rather live a comfortable life every day?
Right.
My common sense says live a comfortable life every day. But also, you do have guys who are comfortable the way it is, because guess what? And this is going to sound stupid to say it this way, if I invest $5,000 in tattooing my body, I become irresistible. If I grow a beard and I get it lined up, all of a sudden that just makes me so manly now.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if I buy a luxury car in an apartment complex, I must be killing it. So you got men playing into the illusion because it's easy for these women to fall for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's gonna make it. He got 3 tattoos on his face. He got a beard. He got a sports car in a studio apartment. I can see potential in him. Okay. That's a bad idea.
It's like how these women flaunt themselves over Tech 9, or flaunt themselves over I forgot this other guy who has tattoos all over his face. I mean, that doesn't look like a father material, but yet the women do not understand consequences. They never really sit there and you never put on them. That's why I rather talk to older women, because older women see bullshit for what it is. Younger women, they're on that bullshit.
That's the problem, Big J. They're older women because they've been there and they've done it, and so their lives probably fuck up, and they could sit back and they could see it a mile away.
Yeah.
And let me say this. Listen, think about this. This is the problem. a lot of these older women, and this is women in general, don't give a fuck about other women, especially black women. Where they say they do, they don't, because they actually show otherwise. Because if you're a fuck up in life, you do everything possible to really take the next sister that's either coming up age or younger than you, either by 20 years younger, to really give her enough. That way she don't end up a fuck up like you. But by nature, they're very selfish. That's why if you look at everything statistically, hold on. Me and Charles did a show on this. About, okay, you're so educated. So why your children are at certain levels, reading, or anything in regards when the boys come to a certain age that they're not able to, some of them might be able to college, but some of them fall to the wayside. Because a lot of these women, either if they had to do bad by themselves, they let their children fall for the wayside and let the state babysit them.
And that's what Shelby Sharp said at the Texas legislature about the no-fault divorce and how family court is creating a society of boys being turned into defective girls, and that also backed up what Susan Hoff Summers said in her book, The War on Boys. And I wish people on this show, and one particular person who's on this phone line, will actually do his research and understand what's going on. But he wants to sit there and deny that because he looks down upon other guys and say that he's more of a man than anybody else, rather than sit there research. See, men are not also supposed to be just men. We're supposed to puff out our chest. Men are supposed to be philosophers and thinkers too. So I want to sit there and apply some philosophy with what's going on.
Okay.
And hold on, I ain't done. You're upset. Now I'm gonna talk to AR movement before I leave. Before I leave, AR movement. Now you are part of the Black Manosphere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, so what is the future of the Black Manosphere? Because the way I see it from right now, y'all are just spinning y'all's wheels on these certain topics, and I don't see the. With the exception of you and exception of O'Shea, everybody else is still spinning the wheels on the same topic about hair weave and or this woman's better than this woman or the other stuff. So what is the future? What do you see in the future of the Black Manosphere or the Negro Manosphere?
Here's the interesting thing about the Manosphere is. It's very wide in topic selection, and it's very wide in things that for black men's self-improvement. What you find out when you're in it is guys gravitate to the shenanigans more than the self-improvement.
Right.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The whole trucker thing, that's part of the Manosphere. The getting guys to get themselves into learning trading is in the Manosphere. The health, the getting yourself healthy as far as physically and diet is still part of the Manosphere. The making yourself more fashionable in the sense of presenting yourself as your best version is part of the Manosphere. But what the guys gravitate to the most is talking about the ladies. And it's because we've gotten on the guys. We have definitely gotten on the guys time and time again. Look, dude, you can't keep getting on these chicks if you're not going to improve. So what winds up happening is even the guys that you feel like, because there are some guys that that's their shtick every day. But even some of those guys, that is their shtick. But we leave them to their shtick because other people could do other stuff. Because we know you're going to come out of that at some point.
Right, but and that's my problem I have with the Black Manosphere is this overtly reliance on talking about black female fuckery every day, all day, 7 days a week, about 16 hours a day. One dude doing 16-hour hangouts, talking about black female fuckery 7 days out of the week.
Hold on. Which dude doing 16 hours or 8-hour streams on black female fuckery? Who's that?
When
Obsidian.
people say BFF, that is usually Obsidian.
Okay, all right.
That's just, but you got to think about it. Okay, say that's Obsidian Stick, right? If you listen to BGS, it goes from geopolitical stuff to conscious stuff to esoteric stuff. If you listen to Ron Will, he pretty much covers everything. If you listen to Black Ram will cover women a lot in a different way. But if you listen to Kevin Samuels, he'll cover what you need to wear, your dress, your appearance, your fragrances. That's different. Me and O'Shea, we do pretty much a plethora of different things. You get what I'm saying?
Or Alan Roger Curry does the Mac game, and all that,
Right.
Actually, the OG Mac game.
OG Mac game,
It depends on who you gravitate to. You get what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, if you, Anger Man, he vacillates. Like, he'll go through a season of doing one thing, and then he'll do a season of something else. So it's one of those situations where what you're gravitating to is definitely what you're gonna see.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And if you do it on YouTube, it's just gonna jump on you anyway, because YouTube has an algorithm. You watch something 2 or 3 times, it's gonna keep throwing it at you.
Right. And I'm gonna say.
Can I say something right quick?
Hold on.
You gotta wait, Joshua. Open your mic. Hold on, Joshua.
Hold on. I'm gonna say this. I'm going to leave because I got things to do. I'm gonna say this to this person who's on his line. I hope that you will stop looking down on people, and I hope that you visit some of these manosphere channels and talk to them directly rather than you sitting in the chat room talking down on them. But anyway, LR Movement, I appreciate talking to you. Gary, I'm out of here. I'm out.
Okay. Hey, Monica Lamb, I see the chat room. Call, girl. I know you're Southern smooth face. You better call up in here, man. We need some females to call in. You know what's funny, AR Movement? Anytime when, I'm not sure if you notice this, but when I have these subject matters, when we talk about black men and black female relationships or anything in regards to black women, or mostly on ourselves, that the women sometimes get silent. Hell, if we were talking about women in a certain way, they might come up, or they might not, but they just get silent. I don't know why. I know they watch.
I love watching Joe Williams, and when he does his shows, it's the same thing. And it took him years to get sisters to call, really, but he has a panel of sisters. Mm-hmm. And it's usually because, it's certain things they just don't want to deal with. I think that there's a demographic of our women who feel like they're strong and like they're powerful, but when it comes to actually coming to the table as an adult, they exhibit a lot of cowardice. They just can't, come to the table as an adult. And sometimes, some of the sisters are just listening to a different perspective, and they're mulling it over. I've seen that too, where sisters mull it over for a while, and some of them start their own channels, and then some of them start calling, but it takes them a long time. They're not as decisive as men. And plus, I've also seen women get attacked to the point where it's not the men that intimidate them. It's just if they agree with the men, they're scared of the women. Because there's been plenty of women who've ran women off.
I see. Okay. I get you. Now, Yasha, welcome. You have a question, brother?
No, I just want to have a couple of three things with the brother. I checked him out on YouTube a few times, and he's pretty, he's pretty good at what he knows. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to commend him for that. But as well, I wanted to say to you that I think that we have a I think, and it's 3 points I want to say it, and I want you to answer. I'm trying not to be long-winded. I'm trying not to make it long. So I'm just trying to get it where I can see your perception, your point of view on this. We have a problem in in social media, especially when it comes to black men. When we talk this way, or we have a complaint about a certain black woman, or the behaviors of black women, and you find other black men who would down those brothers and say, you brothers are whining, or you brothers are this and this and this, or you brothers are weak because you're complaining about the black woman. I hear that stuff all the time, and that's one thing. And I want you to I want your perception on that. The second thing is too that the social media is kind of, in a sense, is a problem for black relationships, because relationships, because you have different points of view. Both sides are pointing the finger at one another. That's the second part. I mean, we totally point the finger. And the third thing is this too. We have, I think, when it's dealing with the black men and black women, I think that we have to admit in some cases, like, there's a percentage of black women out there who have character deficiency issues with black men, meaning that I kind of hate to use the nice guy and the bad guy concept, but I'm going to have to use that for, if a brother is being himself, he's not out there being like the other brothers, he's not following what the other brothers do, he's not out here doing what other brothers do, but he's just being himself, going through, I guess, society, whatever, going through life, finding his own way, doing what he does. And then you find, in some cases, that sisters are, in some cases, they turned off about it. I don't know what that's about. I don't know how that comes up in our community. With those type of men are not tend to be quote attractive to sisters. You see, or she doesn't find him attractive, or he's not the quote this alpha male dumb stuff. And I hate that word alpha male. I think that's a problem too. I think that's a big problem in our community, that we now have these different labels. So those 3 points. Can you comment on that? So okay. Get your perception on that.
I'm going to start with the third one. American culture loves the underdog. Mm-hmm. So to a degree, the bad boy is the underdog. And America hates the winner. And what I mean by America hates the winner, think about all of the people who you know are competent and proficient and excellent at something. They like to see them win in the beginning, but then they got sick of them winning. So you're dealing technically with a dynamic where, yes, women like bad boys, but bad boys are always underdogs because they're screw-ups. And, screw-ups are exciting because maybe they'll win big one day, but they're accustomed to being losers, right? Mm-hmm. But a guy who's competent and proficient at something, that's boring because he keeps winning. It might not be big winning, but it's winning. And for some people, they don't like that. Now, it's different if you notice, if they get with the guy and they realize that winning is beneficial to them, then it's cool. But just in a dating aspect, it's not cool because they're not necessarily benefiting something. You can hit yourself to a bad guy who's an underdog, who's a loser, because guess what? If he wins, you were there with him when he was a screw up and he was a loser. So, you can pseudo get your, I'm the inspiration for him being a winner type of thing. Now with the social media part, social media isn't reality, and what it makes it lets us all overvalue our worth. Mm-hmm. And since you overvalue your worth, you overvalue everything that you do and bring to the table. And now you think you're more than what you are. But just because your social media presence can be completely opposite from your day-to-day reality, and the way we're going about it in society, you can get 1,000 likes but don't nobody like you in your real life. But you think the people in your real life are the issue because you got 1,000 likes from people that you don't know. Because we're addicted to the attention. Now, the first part is very interesting because I've watched this in real time with some of the brothers. You've got a group of brothers who will say that people are whining and complaining because they have more access to women, okay? And then you have a group of brothers that are trying to tell some of these guys, because I've seen this also where the guy say, okay, let me take a look at you and see what you need to improve on. And he said, you need to improve on this, and this, and you start going in the positive direction. And those same brothers like, I'm not doing none of that. They do the take me as I am thing too. So depending on, the situation, you could have a guy who legitimately has a complaint, that's very legitimate and justified. And you can also have a guy who has a complaint because he doesn't want to improve himself. So they just dump them both in the bag and just say, everybody likes that, which is asinine, but it does happen. And that's why I say I've seen both sides, because I've seen it in real time, even on YouTube with some people's channels. So, it's one of those situations where what it all boils down to is we have a society of people who aren't real with themselves.
Right.
And when delusion is the norm, people actually believe, if you put syrup on that bull, it'll be pancakes. But everybody's smart enough to not to stick a fork in it and put it in their mouth.
Right.
So, it's not necessarily a touchy subject, but it's a subject where I've noticed that, the elephant in the room with everybody, for the most part, is you don't want to face the reality.
Yeah.
The women don't want to face the reality. The men don't want to face the reality. You got, and I'm gonna use this as an analogy. I'm a pretty athletic guy, but people work out nowadays for aesthetics. Look at my muscles. Look at my definition. But see, if you're an athlete, if that muscle is not functional, it's worth it. This is why you don't see bodybuilders. It's rare to have a bodybuilder physique in a sport, because the body wasn't made for that sport that way. Bodybuilders are bodybuilders, athletes are athletes. Would you rather be a great athlete or a great player? Because if you're a great athlete, you can run and jump and everything else, but your game is suck. But if you're a great player, your game is legit, and you just might not look like a damn supermodel. And this is what we're doing in society. We're putting out aesthetics as if aesthetics are functional, and aesthetics are not.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be Bo Jackson.
Right. And also I see a lot too is this, that we see a lot of, unfortunately, we see a lot of, they always tend to say this on social media too, that they always blame black men, say, well, black men are putting white women and Latino women or Asian women on a pedestal. And I find that kind of ironic, because when it's done in reverse, it's accepted by black women. When they put, say white males on a pedestal or Latino males on pedestal, it's normally accepted. And I find that kind of interesting that we have that they tend to demonize and beat up black men for the same thing that they tend to practice themselves. They tend to beat black men down for that. And that's something else too that I see a lot And I also deal with this word called leader. And we tend to say that a lot to black men. They're not leaders. They're not builders. They're not. And this is things that are commented about by black women. This is not something, I'm not for one for black women addressing black men. I'm for one for brothers addressing brothers. Basically, that's my part of my teaching. Black men should address black men. Black women should address black women. But I find that black women generally don't address other black women. And then, like you made the statement, when they do that, those black women are ostracized by other black women because they say, "Oh, she's gonna tell the truth, so let's not go over there and talk with her. Let's go over there and talk with her because she's gonna support that narrative." So I feel that's also happening too in our community, and I think that again we that this thing is happening. So, maybe that's something that you want to comment on. I know it's getting late for you, but I just want to thank you again to coming on his show on Gary's show. I mean, sorry about that, Gary. Coming on his show and dealing and talking about this thing from this perspective, because a lot of times when black men have this perspective, we become the enemies of black women. I don't know why. And you would think that when they hear us talk like that, we're showing more love to them than what they really suspected. And that's what I don't understand. If we didn't care about it, we wouldn't talk about it. We just go about our business. See, that's what they don't understand. They don't understand, well, here's the black men that really love you because they're talking about you. If they didn't talk about you, they just go about their business and keep moving and keep it moving like you don't exist to them. So, but those comments, if you want to comment on them, if not, but thank you.
No,
go ahead.
Sisters don't understand that black men fetishize femininity from other groups.
Mm-hmm.
And I know sisters know this to be true because sisters get upset when they see black women who are very feminine because it does something to them. Like the thing about men not being leaders and builders. I can't say black men are leaders and builders. For one, leaders, to be a leader, you have to have a bunch of people following. So you can't have a gang of leaders. Like you can't have a whole a collective of men as leaders because nothing will get done. That's the quintessential, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. So to me, it's a ridiculous ideology to say. But I don't think that's thought through. As far as build, see, this is what happens when you let somebody control a narrative for a nefarious reason. Because the same group that said we're not leaders and we're not builders are the same group that said they didn't want leaders or builders.
Yeah.
So now that they've led themselves off a cliff and they haven't built anything, now they turn around and don't want to say, I failed at being a leader and builder. But I'm not going to say I failed. I'm going to say you're not one, because if you was, you would get me out of this hole that I dug myself in. But so that's part of the common sense part of it. Now, what winds up happening over and over and over and over again is this idea about black men. And the idea is basically this: black men aren't good, but black men who are good, which is an oxymoron. Because if we aren't good, but you can run off people, then that means you already know that's not true in your real life. The same thing goes for when the ladies they can't find a man or they can't find a husband. You ask these women a lot of times, they've had a man and they've had a man who proposed to them.
Yeah.
That's not what they wanted.
Right.
So what you wind up happening is people looking at their life retroactively and overvaluing themselves and like, well, and I've talked about this before where you have to be very arrogant and very narcissistic to think that love, marriage, and life works on your time schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now I'm at this point in life, so now I'm ready for a relationship. I'm at this point in life, so now I'm ready to get married. I'm at this point in life, so now I'm ready to find such and such and such and such. Life doesn't turn around and say, oh, you ready today? So all of the things that I've put in front of you these last 10 years that you've ignored, I'm going to just give you a pass on this, and we're going to start from today now that you're paying attention. Don't work that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
and let me say this: are there a shortage of quality black women? I know we hear the narrative there's a shortage of black men. I don't know, but I like to always ask black women. But there are also a shortage of quality black women. And when I say that to them, they don't understand what I'm saying. That there are a shortage of black women who don't have children. That's not mine. Okay. So they don't take into account that that's where a man is coming from. He's saying when he said there's a shortage of quality black women, some men don't want to take on an already made found. They just don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Some men know they don't want to do that. You see, so I always say to women, well, there's a shortage of quality good black women because a good percentage of them have children already. See, well, so a single. Go ahead.
I was on Nicole Michelle's panel. I don't know, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and I had to bring up this point. I'm not even going to bring it to it.
Mm-hmm. I think I was part of that too, maybe.
Yeah, because it was like, go out in society. Look at how many sisters wear dresses on a regular basis. Look at how many sisters wear heels on a regular basis. Look at how many sisters are feminine on a regular basis. You can't act like that's the issue. That the lack of femininity is the major issue because, truth be told, if she's feminine and she's a pleasure to be around, and she actually, and this also goes into the mix, and she actually likes men, because a lot of women don't like men. And there's one thing I'm going to address probably on my page sometime this week. Is what brothers are not paying attention to, and what sisters are not paying attention to.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There are a lot of lipstick lesbians throwing salt in the game, and the girl's not thinking about it, and the guys aren't thinking about it. She looks feminine, she looks like a lady, but I don't want men talking to me. That's because she likes girls.
Mm-hmm.
She just looks like a woman who likes guys. See, we notice it when we see it in like the stud-looking girls. If we don't pay attention to the women who are lipstick lesbians who have contempt for men, and the girls never double check who they talking to.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. So a lot of these talking points is not just it's feminism. It's lesbianism, it's bisexuality, but it's also those lipstick lesbians in there. And then you got the women who are, quote-unquote, hurt and angry. But the weird part about it is they have a very difficult time with saying what I believe to be true is a lot of people who have negative experiences of black men and who have a history of having negative experiences, they're looking for people who can validate their inner disdain toward black men. They're attracted to people who fulfill their negative stereotypes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why, and they get mad that they're written off, because over time, when you build a resume of people who ain't about nothing, then either that means birds of a feather flock together. Because you can't be above somebody who ain't ish, but you constantly with somebody who ain't ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doesn't go together.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is not supposed to go together. Joshua, I got to open the line. Look like somebody else called in. Anything else, Joshua?
No, that's about it. Like I said, I got more to say, but I'm going to reserve that for a different time. But yeah, it's a lot of behavior, man, out here. You know, bro. And like I said, man, I'm 52 years old, single with no children, bro. So in most cases, I tell people. I mean, it's not a lot of stuff that a woman can tell me, especially when I know she's bullshitting. So it's not much she can tell me. You see, I look at her like, what you telling me for? I don't. I mean, I'm not. That's not my life. I'm not. I didn't do that to you. I didn't make you pregnant and leave you. I didn't do these things to you. So why are you mad with me? I didn't do that to you. You see. So and I tell them in a minute. I don't want to. For me, for my own inner being and etc. and all that stuff, I try to avoid that as much as possible. You see. So, but thanks again, bro.
All right, good.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I forgot about something because you did bring up the part about the reverse with white guys, and when they're handling business, it's okay. The big difference with that is, they give them more latitude than they give us.
Right.
You can be a failure and be non-black, and your group is looked at as a success.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be part of your group, even when the group don't like you like that.
Yeah.
But that's part of that hypergamy and caste system thing, because it's just like being a black man and you getting into an affluent neighborhood and they asking you how the heck did you get there. You're not supposed to do that, because everybody knows, like it or not, everybody who is a non-black, who's not a black male, knows that they're in business with each other to throw us under the bus for their own benefit. This is part of the fear that non-black men have of black men, because it's like when you get to a certain level, it's like, I know the only reason I'm living like this is because it's not about me competing. It's about me being underhanded and sneaky and not actually being a man. But, I feel like I'm winning now, so I'm going to take my money, but I can't really look at you in your eyes. Because if I look at you with hatred and you respond back with that same hatred, I'm going to play out like I'm a victim. You see that all the time as a man. And you got to understand that the women are looking for a way out, but some of these same women are in bed with I'm a double minority.
Yeah.
So of course they look at them.
It's kind of like the concept of the nice white guy versus the nice black guy, or the ordinary white guy versus the ordinary black guy. And generally speaking,
right.
to me, it's the same scenario where, you'll find that even with black women, they would date the ordinary white guy and hold him to a whole different standard that she will hold the ordinary black guy. She would tell the ordinary black guy, "Oh, you're not my type. Oh, you're too soft for me. Okay, you don't look hard enough for me." And, it's the same thing that, and so I find that kind of, ironic. So you wonder why the show has men being, quote, this leader, because those men who potentially can be leaders to you and your family, whatever, to his children, they're the ones that you really are not paying attention to. You sidetrack him because he's not what your friends think he should be. Because sometimes, you got a lot of black women who go through their relationships through their friends, or whatever their friends say. Their friends say, oh, girl, you can do better than that, girl. Oh, it's like, for me, if I was a female, say, I'm just thinking hypothetically, and a female told me that, I would probably say, well, you're not my friend because you don't know what's good for me. What was good for me might not be good for you. What's good for you might not be good for me. You see, I'm thinking,
But Joshua, you got to understand.
I'm done.
The nature of a female. See, females compete with each other. That's why if you look at a true friend, a true friend will not tell you what you want to hear. They'll keep it real with you. You know what I'm saying? If they're a true friend. A lot of these women, and we got to be honest here, and I see Big J must have call back in. That, you know, in a world where the pool of men is very limited and short, women are competing against each other to get that so-called man either they want, desire, or just a man in general. And the problem with us today, they don't feel that they don't have to compete for no man because they feel they're entitled to a man. And this is the whole basis of this whole conversation, you know. Even when I put the subject matter about who value relationship more, men and women, you know.
Well, let me interject on this part.
All right, go ahead.
Every now and then I talk to sisters about this. A lot of women aren't that bright when it comes to the intentions of other women, because men are looked at as the enemy. So a lot of women don't realize when another woman is really sabotaging their happiness. So what winds up happening is the same thing with the friends. Oh, he's not on your level. He's not good enough for you. But to a degree, the women don't think, well, wait a minute. If he's not good enough for you, but he's way better than your boyfriend or your last boyfriend, well, you just want me to be single while you single. Because you got to remember, women are keep other women single until they get a man and bounce on a single friend. And this happens all the time. So, you know, and there was a little experiment that was on social media about the girl who, whether it's real or not, where the girl paid the other girl $50 to come on to her man, and then she said the guy was cheating with her, and then the girl told her she lied because she didn't think that she deserved her boyfriend because she already paid her $50 to try to take her boyfriend. But the girl couldn't fathom the fact that she could get double crossed, because guess what? When two women get together, the man is the enemy, not the woman. You know, so you're dealing with a group who are not really watching each other. You're dealing with a group that two women, a woman could like women and not tell a woman that she likes women, but she could tell a woman to not like men. That's on the table. You're dealing with women who, I'm single, you're married. I don't like the fact that you're married, so I'm going to throw some strife in your marriage, and then when you get divorced, I'll be happy. Because you're unhappy now. That's what you're dealing with. No, I'm sorry.
No, I hear feedback noise. Can somebody be on the line? I just opened the mic.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Who is this, Big J? I mean, is this J NYC?
What's going
Hello?
on? Yeah, I just wanted to ask a quick question. Have you guys had any, I hear there's a conversation a lot with women. Have y'all had any women call in and give their opinion, or did y'all ask them a little bit about, their perspective? Yep.
Jay, not one woman has called in tonight. And, like any show, anybody's free to call in. And I was noticing, tonight, I'm not one peep, surprising. But, continue.
That's all. I'm listening, though. I'll sit back.
Okay. You probably watching wrestling or something. Okay. Yeah.
Nah, I don't watch wrestling, Gary.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so, like you said, Aaron, yeah, I get the point. Yeah. I think one other thing, because I'm going to soon wrap this up. In regards to this situation we face now as a people, and this relationship thing going, do you see anything, this relationship between black man and black woman, turning for the worse? Because it seems like as time progressed, we are more not getting better in regards to how we see ourselves, respect us, view ourselves, Instead, as, you know, what we can get out of each other, or, you know, whatever case may be, as black people, you know, men and women. Do you see we're going to get any better out of this, or is this going to go downward from here, you know, especially in regards to the relationship thing moving forward? That's my question.
Okay, from my vantage point, I see a separation coming. Because what I've noticed is there's some people who are just going to be left behind because they chose a bad ideology.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that to me, that's like, it's going to get worse for them. But for the people who don't subscribe to ideology that's dysfunctional, it's gonna get exponentially better. You know, so they've talked about, you know, the changes in society, the changes in American debt, and how that affects America's relationships, and how it's going to affect male and female relationships, because you won't be able to afford being on your own the way, because it's difficult to be on your own in America under this economy. If you see so many people going back home after they graduate college, and people are struggling with that and the third. So you with every group, you see more cohabitation. But these negative ideologies of, you know, I could do what I want, you're going to see those people really have it the worst. You know, and I think that's going to be necessary. You know, to me, it's just like have people who I knew that were in the street. You never, so you're in the streets and you're never going to get a lawyer, and you're just going to be arrested. Okay, now when you get arrested, you're going to get 40 years. It's what you asked for. So, you know, I think it's going to, for a certain demographic of black men and black women, it's going to be a complete culling and overhaul. And for a certain demographic of black men and black women, it's going to be complete, utter Armageddon.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, hi, everybody. Hi, it's Gigi. How you doing, Gary?
How you doing? You're the first one to call in tonight.
Well, I got issues. But I was just wondering, thank you for bringing a guest in. And so the information and advice that you're receiving now, you find it helpful?
Me?
Gary.
This is a regular show. I just bring it on to talk about the subjects, you know, regardless if it's helpful or not. That is, I leave to y'all.
Well, no, I'm asking you because you seem to be in agreement and you seem to be enthusiastic about it. The subject matters. So I was just wondering.
Well, I don't go by what I feel. I go by what people are going to get at the end of this day.
Well, I'm going to tell you how I feel, but I really want to know how you feel, if it's okay. You feel like this is like right down your alley, or you're learning things that you didn't know before?
We're always learning, Gigi.
Not we, you, Gary.
No, but I'm talking about as we people, me as a man, and probably you, if you get anything out of this broadcast tonight, everything is always a learning process.
But for you,
I can't speak for myself because like any individual, I'm learning as I go along. You know what I'm saying?
So you really need this. What I'm trying to ask.
What do you mean? Oh, Gigi, stop right there. What do you mean? What I need this? What do you mean? Can you elaborate?
No, what I'm trying to say is, do you feel like you're learning something that you didn't know before, or do you feel like this is something new that would help you, I guess?
Help me in what?
In life, dealing with women, I guess, specifically.
Nothing's wrong with me with women, Gigi. Are you calling that this is an issue because I'm bringing such a mess about men and women in general, especially the females?
Absolutely not, because you do it. You've done it.
No, Gigi. Are you having a problem with this? I mean, it's better.
Absolutely not. I'm enjoying it, actually. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Really? Now, Gigi, be honest with yourself. When I brought Charles Faulkner, you had an issue with him.
I'm interested because I have sons. Well, they're men now, and it's important to know how people feel about, especially black relationships, because that's the most important thing to us as black people, between men and women. So even if I don't agree, I still can learn something that I didn't know before.
So what have you learned so far tonight, Gigi?
I haven't learned anything new. I think I've heard everything that you guys have talked about before. I don't agree on everything. What I don't agree with is I don't think that there are that many gay women or that many gay men to begin with. So I think that's a very small percentage of the population, but they're a group that votes. So a lot of politicians, wrap their hands around, no pun intended, gays because they vote. They're a powerful, political bloc, and also I think that the reason that women, quote unquote, don't react the way that they should when it comes to men, and men don't always react the way they should because towards women, specifically black, is because if you haven't grown up in a home where you have role models, you don't know how to model it. And then, like, to see your parents stick it out no matter what. People have died in the family, people have been sick, people have been incarcerated, people have been on drugs, have stolen everything. When you see your parents or your grandparents or your aunties and uncles go through that, that's the only way that you can see and believe and know that you can survive the pitfalls of marriage and whatnot. And if you don't have that model, all you have is TV and media, and that's slanted and biased. And I also feel that black women want to be with black men, and black men want to be with black women, but because of the tragedies and the strife our people have been through, we all have, like, baggage, burdens, hurts, and baggage, and it's a lot to work through, but it's worth it. I think I'm done. Thank you.
All right. Hold on. Aaron, you have any response to that?
Okay. One of the questions is, you say your sons are grown, right?
Yes.
Do you feel like they're competent black men?
Absolutely.
Are you comfortable, or are you confident that there's enough black women who will actually do right by them?
Oh, yes.
What area of the country are you in?
I'm in Harlem.
Do they feel that way?
One does and one doesn't.
So it's a mixed bag. Okay.
Well, it's reality.
Yeah, that's the reality. It's just the comment I was making about that you were talking about the homosexuality part.
Mm-hmm. I
will say this: there's far more women that are homosexual than men. It's not even close. And the reason why I'm saying this,
Gary, calm down, Gary.
I'm not. It's not. The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm a college graduate. Being in college, you notice the sexual experimentation that goes on with just young people in general, because you're free out of your parents' house. It's normal college culture for women to go both ways at this point in society. And it's been that way for over a decade, maybe close to 2 decades. But also, you got to remember, you don't have to remember, but also they say our women are the most educated, so they are the most prevalent of our group to be in college. So there are far more women who've had a female-on-female experience than you have guys who had a male-on-male experience.
I don't agree.
I'm not going.
All right. So you don't agree. How do you validate that?
There's no way to prove statistically if more women have had sex or whatever with women and more men have had sex or whatever with men. There's no way to prove that. That's just your personal observation because you went to college. Whoop-de-doo.
No.
But you know what, gentlemen, I did not call in to argue. I just wanted to give my opinion.
There's no argument.
I think it's more positive than.
DJ?
Don't yell at me, Gary.
I'm not going to argue. This is not just for reference. I'm not arguing with you, and I'm not going to diminish your experience, and I'm not going to let you tell me my experience is small. Because
no, not small. It's not.
Wait. Just hear me out for a second. Because here's the one thing I do know, and this is the one thing I've noticed because I'm very observant of culture, people, and history. When you overlook something and you don't take it into consideration, it hits you like a train when you see it all at once. What I'm saying, you might not see it for yourself right now, but I guarantee you what I said will come to life, and you will see it in your lifetime. And it will track back to exactly what I said. Because I've lived on 3 different parts of America, and I've seen this rise over the last 20 years.
Stop muting me, Gary.
I was opening my line. Relax.
You muted me.
This is why I asked the question. If you had women in there, guy.
I was muted.
Keep going. All right.
Well, no, that's the gist of it because wait a minute. Gigi, did you go to college?
Yes.
What year did you graduate? Right.
I don't want to go into all of that. Yes, I went to college.
What year? Was it in the 80s, 90s?
Gary.
What year?
Gary, you're gonna have to calm down.
When you started to take college?
I'm almost Gary. I like you a lot, but stop yelling at me, man.
She could be your mom and slap you, Gary.
For real, I'm almost 60 years old. So even the years that I went to college is not going to apply to this conversation.
Okay.
Please continue, Charles. Gary, stop yelling at me.
That's why I was asking because I graduated college in the early 2000s.
Okay. Congratulations on that.
That was long. That was like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, but you did it. It's not easy. It's not easy.
You said you got a degree there, brother?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
What's your degree in? If you don't mind. It's in what?
Psychology.
Psychology. Okay. Beautiful.
What wound up happening, I had to, at the time, like, it was me and my older cousin. We were the only 2 people to graduate college at the time, okay? And we're 10 years apart.
How many years?
10.
Wow.
So he graduated in 92. I graduated in 2000. And he wound up being a very wealthy guy. So I got to tag along during the Freaknik stuff, during the black bike, Freaknik, Myrtle Beach, Capitol Beach party, until I became in college, and it was kind of on a downward side.
Well, you went to a black college or a regular?
Yeah, we both did.
What did what? The black college?
Yeah, we both went to HBCU. I actually went to HBCU because he went to HBCU because I looked up to him.
Oh, okay, nice.
So, but as it went on, I started, the things that he would talk about, I would see. And then as I got older, it got worse. And then as him being 10 years older than me, and then having to talk to the family members younger than me and the friends that were younger than me and their college experiences and meeting people in different cities and different states, you started hearing the same thing over and over and over again. And then you would see it when you would go out. You would see it not just at a club. You would see it at a restaurant. You would see it in church. You would see it at the grocery store. You would see it going out to eat. And then it's okay. You know, you see it in the gym. It became more and more prevalent. And the common denominator normally came from the college atmosphere. To the point that, matter of fact, if you recall, maybe a year, 2 years ago, one of the most prominent WNBA players, she said she got out of the league because she got tired of the girls trying to hit on her all the time and was mad at her because she was straight.
I remember that. Yeah.
You know, and that's just and when you look at female athletics in high school to college, that little coach's dynamic, that coach's dynamic goes on a whole lot.
I understand that.
Overlooked with the girls. So that's why I say it from when you were in college to when I was in college to my family and friends that's in college, it's different. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. Excuse me. I understand what you're saying. I believe what you're saying. But what I would like to say is that men were doing the exact same thing that the women were doing, except the men were hiding it better. And to this day, they're hiding it better. But that's just my opinion.
But Gigi, didn't you say? Hold on, wait. Let me ask Gigi. So didn't you say that you might have to address this? You're saying that it's more men engaged in the homosexual acts.
I think there's the same amount of men as women. I think that men are just more secretive about it.
But the open air is saying that more women do it than men. That's what he's saying.
I understand what he's saying, and that's his opinion.
And this is my thing about it.
Are you going to yell at me, Gary?
Relax. Because there's more women than men.
Right.
And there are probably more women in college. If I could be wrong, I have to double check the numbers again.
Well, black women, yes.
What?
Black women, yes.
Yeah, so men. Obviously, if you look at the ratio, it would make more sense. It's more higher towards them because there are more of them than men. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think I can meet this in the middle with I think I get what Gigi's saying to a degree.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is this. When it comes to educational dynamic and an occupational dynamic, that's my vantage point on that part of it.
Fine, but
that's very open in society, regardless of race. But on the female side of it, seeing guys who do that, that's more so on the side of the criminal dynamic.
The what?
Wait.
The what? You said criminal?
Yeah, like that's more on the side of the criminal dynamic than the academic dynamic.
Wait a minute. That's silly.
No, it's not.
Men are, to me, in my opinion, men are men. If they're gay, they're gay. If they're straight, they're straight. If they're bi, they're bi. Whatever. You can't go by somebody's. I'm sorry, what gay?
No.
I mean, what Gary?
There's no such thing as bisexual man.
You're right. It's gay. You're right. Even when I said it, I said, no, I'm using the wrong word as it was coming out. But there's no statistics for this. And there's a lot of secret, lifestyles applied to this. And don't even get me started with the church. And there's no stats.
Now, here's the irony of what you said, just to make a point.
Okay.
The black church in particular, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it also one of those places where people used to talk about the pastor used to be a pimp, drug dealer?
No, it's more like the pastor is a pimp, but I'm rim shot.
So that's in the idea of criminality.
But
that's part of bringing the criminality.
No. I mean pimpmatic, like pimp movement, pimp actions, pimp swagger. I don't mean literally a pimp.
But that is part of the for the last 20, 30, maybe 40 years, that part of the dynamic has been there.
It's been there since the beginning of the church. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about in our community, not the whole.
Well, I'm talking about the history of the black church. No. But I don't literally mean pimps. Now, come for the deacons?
That's the thing, though. Like, but that's what I mean by the criminal.
Lord!
It's not a normal thing for you to hear of a guy who's an engineer
that's gay.
Who had no. That's not a normal thing to hear of a black guy who went to college and became an engineer, and he wanted to express himself sexually in college, and he's figuring it out. That's normally not the case.
I don't know if men freely would tell another man, you know, I'm gay. I'm trying to figure in college. I'm gay. I'm trying to figure it out. You know, I've known men who've gone.
Hold up.
I'm sorry.
Hold up, Gigi. Let's use it this way. When you're in college, you're in a dorm.
Right. Well, you're supposed to be.
You're normally in a dorm. You're normally in a dorm with your gym.
Right.
So, and you're normally in a dorm with multiple people from 4 to 8. There's not any ability to hide something like that.
Yes, there is.
In a dorm. No, there's not.
Well, I have family members that are male, black males who went to HBCUs, and they were in shock to find out that their roommate, that what they thought was as straight as an arrow, one of the coolest dudes, their frat brother or whatever the hell, and the guy's a flaming fag.
Man, step it in the Hershey Highway, you say?
You know what, Gary? You need help, man. But I still like you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. If that's the case, would you consider that a norm or an anomaly?
I don't know. All I know is young people find themselves during their college years, and usually when they leave home for the first time, they go buck wild and they do things that they were taught and warned not to do. Now, how they resolve it in their own life, I don't know.
Now, since you're a mother of 2 men, did they find themselves in their college years, or did they find themselves around puberty?
I would say college. I think they had questions in puberty, but they acted out. They weren't brave enough to act it out until college, especially if they got to go away to school. I don't know.
They didn't know they liked girls until college.
What?
So they didn't know.
I just said it. I think they've had issues and questions about their sexual identity in high school or whatever, but they didn't act it out until, they weren't brave enough to act it out until college. That's my opinion.
Can I add this in?
Hey, Big J, how you doing, man?
All right. I have to call back in. I got to clear this.
I missed the first conversation. I just called in.
Okay, now, here is what an LR.
Gary.
Why are you muting me, dude?
I'm not muting you, man. I've opened the line. It will mute automatically once I open somebody's line. It does that. So don't take offense. Continue.
Damn.
Go ahead, Gary.
The thing is this, though. LR Movement is from the same area. We meet him in the Houston area. And what we see is women who, women keep preaching this word. Oh, we was born that way. Like that sorry ass Lady Gaga song. They was born that way, right? Then the hypocrisy of it is this: how in the hell can you call yourself? How can you say you're born that way to be lesbian, but yet you are pregnant with 2 babies? You got 2 babies. You have born out 2 children. Then how come you're born
Lady Gaga?
that way? And can I finish the place? And women will find cover behind that shit. Men can't find cover on that shit. And that's what you don't seem to understand that.
You know what? Can I give you an example that's quite interesting?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Lorraine.
You're in Harlem, right? Hello?
He's talking to you.
You're talking to me, yes.
You're in Harlem. So I know you're older, but you know who Jay-Z is, right?
Of course.
So recently, maybe in the last few years, he said his mother came out, right?
Well, yeah.
Now, here's the irony of that. For years, he talked about his father in a pretty much negative way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's never put two and two together that maybe his mother, when she came out now, she's been like that for a while.
Probably, yep.
So
but
the issues that his mother and his father had may have something to do with the fact that he didn't necessarily like men.
Right, but he's still his father. That doesn't negate his responsibility.
No, that doesn't. But you're skipping something. I said nothing about negating his responsibility. What I'm talking about is his ideology of the male-female relationship was actually tainted because his mother didn't actually like men.
Okay, I'll concede.
Yeah, it's kind of like the disposable male theory that certain women, or even society put, that view heterosexual men as disposable objects.
But you can't apply that to a woman that's a lesbian. I mean.
Oh yeah, yes, I can.
How can? Okay, please explain.
Just like what LR just said. Why? No, he already demonstrated that. Why you think Jay-Z has low opinion on his father, but not his mother?
Because
he got all that ideology from her.
Is this a question or open question, or is rhetorical?
Rhetorical.
Oh.
But you can answer if you want to, but it is rhetorical. I'm actually making a rhetorical statement, but you can answer it.
Okay, I think that
he got those ideas from his mother. Same way, I tell you like this: Bell Hooks is the same way. Bell Hooks is the same way.
I have no idea who that is.
She never married a man. No, she never got with a man, but yet though she always talked this shit about men. But she never come in contact with them. And she's what, 80 now? I'm just saying.
Okay, can I comment now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Most children, boys or girls, favor their mother, even if it's something is the mother's fault. As a kid, they have to pick, somebody has to be the good guy and somebody has to be the bad guy. And 9 times out of 10, they will favor the mother, even if it's the mother's issues that are causing the problems in the house. So
you mean most people now?
My opinion. Or 8 out of 10. Like you may be a kid and your parents are always fighting. You tend to think daddy's the bad guy, mommy's the good gal. And then as you get older and older, you realize, and you start looking back at situations in your home, you realize as an adult with adult sensibilities that, you know what, she was wrong. She lied about this. She started a fight about that. But you want to pick a good guy, so not most of the time you'll pick your mom, even if she's not the good guy. This is my opinion.
Let me ask you something about that, Gigi, because that's very interesting. I believe that also to a degree. So what do you think happens when those children become adults and they realize their angel ain't so angelic, and now they have to look at either...
You're coming in very muffled.
Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me right now?
Let me hear you better.
Can you hear me better?
Maybe there's somebody behind you making that noise.
No, Big J, if anybody's got background noise, please mute your line. I see something I can't tell who it is.
Somebody behind me. Okay.
Yeah, like on another phone. Like I can hear you in the front, but I can hear like...
Yeah, keep going.
Go ahead, AR. You got it, Gary? Okay, thanks.
No, just go answer. I'll catch you.
What do you like? Because this also happens a lot, and I've seen this before.
She is doing it again.
No, I found it.
It's the wind blowing. That's the wind blowing. I hear what you're talking about. What winds up happening is if the people become adults, they They love their mother, they revere their mother. When they become adults and they look at their mother as a human being and they realize that she wasn't so good.
She wasn't perfect.
She doesn't have to be perfect because nobody's perfect. I don't think kids view any of their parents as perfect.
When you're little, you do. People. When you're little, you do.
No, you don't.
No? I did.
No.
Okay.
Normally, that's not. You might see them as, you might revere them, but see them as perfect. Nah, that's not a normal thing. But when these people become adults and they see that their mom actually wasn't a good person, it turns them into a different person because now your childhood isn't the childhood that you had. You know, there's a different intention behind it. Now your relationships with women are different because now that you don't see your mother as good as you once saw, you don't see women as good as you would see them. And that goes the same for women because there's a reason why women don't get along also.
Right. But did you hear what you said? You didn't say, I said, when you're a child, you look at your parents as perfect. It's like your mom is perfect. And my dad was perfect when I was tiny. But you said, no, not that they're perfect, that they're not good. That's a whole different extreme from just the average person sees their mother.
No, that's becoming more.
Not a good person? So you're saying now the norm is women are not good mothers or women are just not good people?
If the more you look into society, their mother wasn't a good mother, so they're not good people.
So can you give me like 2 examples or 3 examples of a mother that's not being good to a small child?
Okay. The experiences that people have normally. One that you were talking about, when people got into arguments when they was young and they took their mother's side. And
right.
They grow to become adults and they realize, wait a minute, she was wrong.
Okay.
And that winds up being a norm. That once that light bulb goes off to one experience, it triggers to the next one and the next one and the next one. Like, wait, she was wrong on this, she was wrong on this. You know what? She's not a good person because I know she knows she's wrong.
So she's not a person that made bad decisions. She's just a no good person from head to toe. Rebellious.
She was rebellious to the point that she became the victim knowing that she was the villain.
Wait, so I don't understand. She became. You got to explain that. She became a victim.
Right. What people have been accustomed to, what more people than you may think have been accustomed to, is looking back at their mother as a person who was the victim because dad was the bad guy.
Right.
And when you realize mom was actually the villain. But she played victim, and I was
But she was not just a victim. She was a villain because she was playing the victim.
Right.
Mm.
This is becoming more so the norm in society. You know, when you talk to adults about their childhood, there's so many adults who say, my dad wasn't there, and then they say, well, wait, my dad wasn't there because this, and then they find out the other half of the story, and it's like, wait a minute, no, that's not no.
But that can't.
I didn't know that part.
Right. Yeah, that happens a lot, but the person's usually not considered a villain. They're usually just considered somebody who was not nice.
No, but that's the thing about society.
Society,
like
and motherhood. Society and motherhood.
No, how society treats motherhood.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
There's a contempt there for a lot of mothers because people do not know how to address their mother's negative behavior, especially in our community.
Okay. So what is the negative behavior of mothers that happens during childhood, but it still permeates today's society?
Normally lying, manipulating, gaslighting, and
gaslighting?
Yeah.
So gaslighting is when you try to make the child think there's something wrong with them in order to make them more dependent on you as a mother?
To a degree. You know, you acting just like your father.
Right.
That's
right.
You know, making the father a negative thing. You need to stop acting like that. So you know that's the gaslight.
Mm-hmm. So when the mother says you're acting just like your father and all of that, I don't know how to say it. That's always a bad thing when the mother says it. It's never a good. Does the kid know that the father has a good side and a bad side when the mother is saying you're acting like your father?
That's not normally how it's used.
So it's received as a negative. It's a bad thing. Does she break down exactly everything the father does wrong, or does she just blurt out, "You're just like your father"?
Normally, if you go out in society, normally it's something that it's attached to something negative.
Mm.
It doesn't even have to be true. It just has to be negative.
So that's gaslighting. If it's not true, you're telling me something's wrong with my father, but to make me feel bad, and it's not even true. That's where the villain comes from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you associated all your negative qualities with who?
Your father or your mother?
Your father. Because you're a child.
Because you're a boy, right? Boy's father, girl's mother.
It's not. It really doesn't matter because they do it to the girls too.
Yeah, that's true.
The act is something within you. So if you're doing something, you acting like a person, that's negative. And then, you know, you turn it around, and when you're acting quote unquote positive, you know what? Let's use this.
Yeah, that's a good question. Wait, when you're doing something positive, does she say you're acting like my side of the family or me?
That's what I was going to.
Or it's not acknowledged at all.
You notice how people take credit for the positive thing?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So so that answers your question, does it not?
Well, I didn't know what you were going to say. I have a guess, but I didn't know what you were going to say.
No, that's what I was headed anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it's something positive, that's me, or I helped you, or you got there because of my sacrifice.
Is that not true though? You might not have got a particular skill from her, or the person might not get a particular skill from the mother, but the mother had to sacrifice, I would assume. I don't know. Is that true?
Well, all parents sacrifice. But when you put your sacrifice over another person.
So who's the other person? The father?
Yeah.
So the mother is saying...
You know what? Hold on. It doesn't even necessarily have to be the father. Because it also happens in school when it comes to education, because you take credit for the
siblings.
You take credit for the siblings helping out. You take credit for the coach teaching the kids. You take credit for, the mentor.
Mm-hmm. And your mentor was your cousin that was 10 years older than you?
No.
No?
We were raised like his brothers. No. Well,
oh, okay.
All right.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gigi. I wish you called earlier. We could have probably gone a little more into, this dialogue.
No worries. Well, thank you. I'm done.
All right. Thank you. Airmark, I would like if you would like to give any closing remarks and statements tonight's show.
No, I don't really do those. I'm glad that you had me on. It was a great discussion, and y'all got me past my bedtime.
Do you have any links where people could find you?
Just LAR Movement on YouTube.
I don't know if you want to spell it for the people that will be listening to the broadcast.
Okay, LARMOVEMENT. LAR Movement. It'll just say. Some people say LAR Movement, but LAR Movement.
Okay. Well, like always, I'm hoping to have you back again, and we'll probably chop up on some other discussions. And hell, if I do bring you back on again sometime, maybe this year, possibly, that I've noticed there's another thing that people be talking about between these so-called Pookie, Ray, and Lames, and maybe we should dedicate a show on that. chop it up that, because that can go any direction, And like I said, I hear it from both sides of the party, and they're seeing them, consolidate between this issue. But there's something to really look and investigate a little further, because some of them that are either the lames or the pookies have some points here. That probably for another future broadcast.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Oh yeah, most definitely. To all that were listening tonight, thank you again for listening to tonight's stream. Like everything else, you know how we do it. Talk with Solutions. Also, you can find me, Chaos Rain, on YouTube. Yes, I'll throw that plug right there for those who want to find other videos and stuff. That you can find on YouTube as well. Including, you'll find all the previous broadcasts here on Talk with Solutions as well. Thanks for all the callers that called and listened tonight. Wish you well. Get some rest. And until the next stream, take care. Good night now.
All right. Thank you for listening to this broadcast again. Comment, subscribe, and like the channel. And always be on the lookout for the next live stream. Thank you again. Take care.